Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this is the X-Men Retrospective, but I just want to give you just a quick listener note that I had some technical malfunction when we did this X-Men Dark Phoenix or X-Men review starting it. This was only about the fourth or fifth time that we were using these mics, and I had some kind of laptop gear issues where it flipped back into my mic or my Mac, like on whatever the in computer microphone. I don't know how we did a test. It was recording these, but I've made measures to make sure that doesn't happen again. I've taken that option out. So unfortunately for this episode, we recorded other ones, and at this point in live, you've probably seen that most of the time it's this audio is the clear audio. I have to say that we are using the audio from the video. It's not like the worst audio in the world, but it's kind of old school GV. It's not nice and clear and crisp, but I want to let you know that that's not the way it's going to go for the rest of the series or anything like that. There are some episodes like Clone Wars and stuff we've recorded way in advance that still have the old audio, so this will be kind of similar to that, but I just want to let you know that we apologize for the audio hiccup. Not going to happen again. I have said it there. I actually have a thing on my tripod as well. I have a note. I have a piece of paper just tape to it to remind me to do 3 things before every cast, just to make sure. I take it out, but I'm going to check every time. So it's a good episode. It's fun. I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I'm sorry for the audio hiccups for it. Yeah, please enjoy it. And then after that, it will be back to regular programming as far as nice, clean, crisp voice. But until then, enjoy this episode. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever recording. We've never done this before. We didn't just screw up and I record all this. I am the Wolverine, Travis Snell.
I am the Cyclops, Kirkland Patzer.
Ooh, I'm the Stormy Kyle Smith.
Wow, change the nicknames on me.
Hey, this is the first time we've ever done this. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't not record what we did before.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what this is the X-Men Retrospective. We are looking at all the films from X-Men to Days of Future Past, the other ones, Deadpool, Logan, etc. We've all reviewed the past 2 to 3 years, so it's not really a retrospect. So with Marvel, I guess Marvel/Disney buying X-Men and Fantastic Four, Dark Phoenix is going to be the last X-Men movie out of this crop. So we thought, what a better time to go take a look back, start from the beginning, and go to the very end and, I don't know, celebrate Dark Phoenix, even though I think that's going to be a trash pile, but still,
if it ever comes out.
It's coming. It's yeah, it'll probably get delayed again, but still. So hopefully it doesn't get delayed again, because that will ruin the timing of this podcast. But if you like this, head over to iTunes, anywhere, subscribe, and the episodes will be dropping in a timely fashion. Please review, that helps a lot. We're trying to get to 200 reviews to hit a new milestone. And if you really like these, head over to Patreon, $1, you get half these episodes. For $5, you get all of them. Do you have anything to say before we jump in this? Anything you want to get off your chests, you know?
I just want to say it's a great deal. That's cheaper than my Quiznos I had today. So just skip a sub sandwich. You can get all these episodes.
It stays with you too longer, you know?
That's
absolutely. What, did you eat in half an hour?
I ate it. I scorped it down probably under 15 minutes. And then it's all going to leave me. It won't be a part of me for very long. So
these are hours of content. You got After Nines, you got Gauntlets, you got all good stuff, you know?
You can re-listen to them as well.
What?
Who wants to start this off? So this is how we figured out that we were not recording last time, because it's not spoilers.
No, this is for sure spoilers. This is for sure. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a spoiler.
yeah. We're just gonna talk about it all. So,
I think. Do you have a quick summary, or
you want me to do Spider-Man retro?
I think we should do that for this.
Okay, wow. You guys need to fill a minute of air while I search the IMDb for X-Men.
Okay, so for me, going back to watch this movie, it's been a super long time.
Oh, he's just getting his overall. Never mind. I thought he'd be like...
No. I'm kind of just giving a quick little background, really, just to buy time.
A history lesson.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this movie in I don't know, since I was 9 or 10.
I think it's been over a decade.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it was nice to rewatch that and kind of go over that again of what we were doing, and actually look at it with a different eye, and realizing it's just a product of its time, and you have to look at it not like all the new movies that we have out right now.
You ready for that? You want to add to that, Kirkland?
Yeah. For me, like I already said, it's been well over a decade since I've seen this movie, but this movie, as well as X2, was one of the first DVDs my family ever owned, so I watched it plenty of times. So it felt like I it felt like I just watched it, but it's still been well over a decade. So there's a lot of cringy things that kind of happen that I kind of forgot about. But overall, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of think that this movie holds up for me. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm excited to go into the weeds.
Okay, so you guys know I watch this shit all the time. So I saw this movie like last year, but I mean I've never reviewed it, so I'm excited to talk about it. So here you go, Kyle. In a world where both mutants and humans fear each other, Marie, better known as Rogue, runs away from her home and hitches a ride with another mutant known as Logan, aka Wolverine. Professor Charles Xavier, who owns a school for young mutants, sends Storm and Cyclops to bring them back before it is too late. Doesn't say too late for what. Magneto, who believes a war is approaching, has an evil plan in mind and needs young Rogue to help him. So just full on, IMDb full on just spoils the big, I'd say, plot twist of the movie. So that's cool. So if you haven't seen it, then there you go. But like I said, you better have seen it because we're going to talk about this. Where do we want to start? Kirkland, you gave the impression that you liked this. Kyle, I don't understand from what you said if you liked or did not like. You just said you wanted to watch where things had come from.
Like aged like cheese.
Yeah,
not like a fine wine where it gets better. It's like
I think I liked it. I think I still enjoyed it. I didn't think it was like an awful movie, but I think I just accepted it for what it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I can't really compare it. I don't think it's fair to compare it to all the newer movies that are out now that's doing something different. And I think in the time it was good. So yeah, that's really what I got for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still, unless Kirkland, do you want to add more? Because I know you said you liked it.
I kind of already did
overall.
my overall.
Just butt in the front. No, I like this movie. I still defend it a lot. I think for me I think it's kind of Kyle's touching upon that. Lots of people do bring it up now and just think, oh, it's not a good movie. But I feel like it's just because you gotta look at when the time came out. I do understand for some fans, especially this first one, like they take a lot of pot shots at comic books, like they're making fun of the names and making fun of the costumes and stuff like that.
I was laughing at the usage of their little code names. Like when he kept calling them Cyclops, I thought it was just hilarious. And like certain times, because I swear they'd be like calling him Scott, and then he'd be like, Cyclops, you got the shot?
What do I call you, Wheels? Probably my favorite line in the movie.
Yeah.
And that was Abla, by the way. Hugh Jackman made that up on the spot, so there you go.
Oh, wow.
The line was
What a
originally
great actor.
what do I call you, Baldy? Which,
Oh, Wheels is a lot better.
yeah, it was a lot better. So I think for the time, this was one of the bigger comic book movies that came out. This was one of the first Marvel ones. I saw with Kirkland before, but you had stuff like Blade and Punisher, but those weren't as big as the mainstream as this and Spider-Man were back to back. I think it is kind of muted down, but it had to be. I think if like stuff like Infinity War or Avengers would have came out in the 2000s, I don't think they would have been a big hit because they weren't accessible to the mainstream, right? You kind of had to ease them in. That's why they have like these like Matrix leather suits, like. And I understand that why people are excited that they're going to be in the MCU because we'll get like those actual big costumes and yellow outfits and blue bits. Like I think in this time people would have just laughed at it.
100%.
You know, and I don't think it would have
100%.
worked, and I think that's why they play down the comic book stuff because it was an adaptation. You had to do that, you know, back in the day. It's good for Spider-Man that came out, but with Spider-Man, it was like, I don't know how else you would have done that costume, right? You kind of had to go all full tilt there, you know. So
like a Matrix like robe, like leather jacket.
And I think like everyone knows who Spider-Man is and can accept it and just like really roll with it instead of like X-Men when like I think this is the first time that I actually really knew who these people were is from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like as someone who hasn't been really involved with the comic books, like at the beginning, like you wouldn't really know. So it's kind of like a nice like step to get into it. I would say at the time.
Especially like the original like Wolverine outfit where like he's got like that mask on. If you threw that on Hugh Jackman in early 2000s, man.
Well, and that's what I want to start with because obviously it's just the beginning of the movie. But the first note I had was I really like the openings of one. How do you guys feel about you got the Magneto open, then you also got the Rogue opening. How do you feel about those two?
First off, I have a question for the Rogue opening. Was that like Walter White's son from Breaking Bad? That actor? I forget his name.
Like the special needs one?
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
Think about the time.
It's 2000.
I know, it looked so similar though. Pull it up.
I will, but I don't.
It looked so similar. I'm like, there's no way that could be him unless he just.
It's not him.
He ages better than
No, it's definitely not. He's playing like a 14, 15-year-old in Breaking Bad. That happens in 2000.
Strange things have happened. That's all I'm gonna say.
Not that strange.
Alright, thanks for answering.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not him. But yeah, what do you think about that? Because that I think is like we were talking about establishing powers right away. It's like I think it's a weird structure to do the two things back to like. It's just like mini origin there, and then jumps in the plot. But I think it does a good job at least establishing that to the main characters, like what their powers are and kind of making them scary, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give I don't even remember, the Magneto open? What happened?
Magneto's the Holocaust opening.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Wow, Kirkland forgot the
Sorry.
Holocaust opening.
Did they redo that scene in a later X-Men movie?
In First Class?
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I thought it looked a little too familiar.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like that one. It gives just like, just a quick little like reasoning why Magneto hates humans so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously all that evil that went on in the Holocaust, and then geared towards like him getting broken up from his family. So I like that one. The Rogue one, I remember when I was little, and like I don't know if I just didn't understand Rogue's powers, but I did not understand that scene whatsoever. I thought the mutant was the other guy. Anyway, so watching it as like an adult now, it's like you kind of actually grasp what's going on. But the Rogue one, I don't know.
I know what Kirkland means. So now, hang on, I got an image of this guy, and he does look quite a bit like the guy. I didn't believe Kirkland at first, but for Kyle, you'll have to probably lean over a bit because I don't want to ruin the gear, but he does kind of look like Archie Nitty or whatever. Yeah, it's not him, but it does look like
It's
him.
it's kind of close. But not,
They could be
not
related.
at all. Actually, not at all.
Really? I'm on Kirkland's
Come on.
bandwagon. It does
Thank
look
you.
like the kid. Yeah.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah. So you thought the guy was immune when you were younger?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess
I taught you don't kiss girls. Look at what might happen to you.
it's definitely not as memorable as the Magneto one for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It shows off like she's a big point of this movie. It's like Magneto's main objective is to get her.
Well, look at IMDb. Yeah, they just lay it
Yeah.
all out there.
Spoiler alert. I guess IMDb already did that. But yeah, I don't know. I just took a lot more from the Magneto one as opposed to the Rogue one.
For myself, I thought it was kind of like a weird transition where it's like a big break of, well, not a big break, but it's like, okay, we just had one kind of a story opening and then up to the next story origin.
Mhm.
It didn't really flow, but like,
Yeah.
I guess I see what they're trying to do,
Yeah.
but I don't know how you would make that flow anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I like about them both was that they kind of make both the mutants seem scary and whatnot. And obviously, like when we're talking about like the retrospective, we're kind of looking at the past. We talk about like stuff in the future. That's what I think. I hope with the MCU, that's what they nail is they got to make these people scary. You know, like you look at Iron Man and Cap. Like all these characters have reasons they got their power, and it's like, oh, you know, they're smart or a science experiment. But these are people that are born with these powers, and I do like when her family comes up and they're just like freaking out at her and she's freaking out. Like I don't know because they haven't really tackled I think like super scary stuff in the MCU, but I do like that they do try their best in this movie. I think they achieve for the most part to make them freaks. I think things like Toad, like he looks alright, he's just a dude with green hair.
They made him seem pretty strong in this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait until we get that. He destroys the X-Men.
He was very OP.
Yeah, but that's the thing I did like. I like the Holocaust opening, but I think what I like most of them is just that you feel that everyone's scared of these people. You know, you can see why when we get to Jean Grey talking to everybody, why they want them to be locked up, or they're scared of them, or they don't want them to be in the general public. So I hope we get that in the future. You know, I just don't know with Disney if they want to make them like, because you gotta make that difference, right? Of like, why would people love Captain America but not like Jean Grey? You know?
Yeah.
I think that's a very fair point because I find like all the newer Marvel movies that come out, like you're pretty excited to like watch them and they're helping people, or kind of like we talked about this on an earlier cast with the new Batman like kind of horror film, and then like classic it's not Batman, the new Superman horror film, and then
The Bright. Yeah.
and then just classic Superman where you just see him like helping people, but at the end of the day, like he's scary, like you don't know what he's doing, and I think this movie really hits that home to make sure like, man, these people are completely different from who you are, and you know what, like, and you see it from both sides where it's okay to be like kind of uneasy, but then you know I think at one point Storm says like, well, I'm afraid of you guys as well too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're going to do, and then it's more of like kind of a nice understanding, but that was a bit of a small theme that they had going on, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, and I think that they like also established that in like Rogue's case, these people don't even know like what they're capable of either, so they're kind of scared themselves because, you know, Rogue was just had a cute boy in her room. She wasn't expecting to put this motherfucker in a coma, poor guy. But
Yeah. I guess don't really understand Rogue's power.
So she can
Because like obviously like someone touches her, she like gains their power.
She I think with
She
just
absorbs the life
I
force.
think with a regular person, she just absorbs their life force. So it's like putting in a good Mentos, and you just when you had like some gross
Good
onions.
Mentos.
Hang on, when you've had a bunch of gross onions for dinner, and you get like a mint or something, and just your mouth feels so refreshed. That's what it feels like it's for her when she touches someone. Like she just feels so like spry. I'm just joking. Kyle is so mad at me right now.
He does.
So
I was like, that's not what happened at all. She was like super upset about the whole situation. It's like, stop.
No, I think it's weird.
So emotional.
It's weird when you get into the human side because it's funny in the comic books, which they can actually do in the MCU. Rogue learns how to fly because at one point she has to touch Captain Marvel to like save her or something like that, and she takes some of her powers and she's able to fly. So that's how in the comics. So I bet in the MCU there's a good chance that's gonna fucking happen. So that's cool. So I think with the powers, it's she gains control of them for a little portion that she can. It's like with Wolverine when he was when she was dying, got his healing powers, right? I think with the humans, I don't really know. I think it's just that they almost have no mutant genes, so it just kind of hurts them instead of helping her, right? Because I don't know if it makes her stronger or anything, because she's not like getting younger. She's not like, she's not like, oh, I can sprint.
That Mentos.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I think it's just that it Kyle's so mad. I think it just detracts from their life. But I think it's more just for mutants. Like it's for that. With humans, it just hurts them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's all I really have to say for the beginning.
Well, then we go right into so that scene transitions into Jean. She's at the meeting and whatnot, which I've always been wondering if they fully know how powerful Jean is in that scene, just because, like, is she a mutant? Do they know that? Or do they know she's just like a mutant, like sympathizer, like helping along? Because
I don't think they know.
Yeah.
I think she's just like some sports spokesperson who's like, oh, they're just trying to do good, like they're normal people, and like it almost seems like she's trying to like hide away the fact that she's also a mutant as well too. Mm-hmm. Which is like, I think you would have to do that.
Yeah,
at that
you would.
point
Yeah,
to try to like convince people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, and then anyway, so yeah, she's talking about the government wants to put in this law where they can have
to
register as a mutant, and then you got, which I think is the great scene of Charles McNeil. They're both separately watching, and then that great hallway scene. I think that just established everything you need to know between those two and like their ideologies, and I think it's really good. Those two are, me and Kurt were talking about before cast. They're just perfectly cast, and I guess when we start getting to characters, we can talk about them. I think we'll obviously see them in many other movies, but they just kind of put everyone talks about like what's gonna happen when they recast Jackman. We got lucky with Fastbear McAvoy, but same thing with Marvel and MCU. It's gonna be interesting what they do with those characters, because these two are great in these roles. They both hit them so perfectly, and it's tough to like get up. There's many other great actors out there. I'm not saying that, but I think the scene you get to see them both do well, but I think it just establishes them really good as far as it's very minor, and you get more of it as the movie goes along. But it's probably one of my favorite scenes from this movie. So
yeah. I also like, even just before that, I just love that whole scene when Jean's in the middle, surrounded by all the senators, and she's just dressed in all red. I forget the actress's name, but
Famke Janssen.
I love her as Jean Grey. In like the OG X-Men, she was one of my favorite characters. So I don't know, I just, even like visually, it looks so nice, because like you have all like the classic stereotypical like senators, just like all in their black suits,
bunch
like
of
white males, white hair,
white
and
60-year-old.
then you just got Jean in the middle with like all red, just got her red hair, just like visually it just looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gives you a little insight of the politics of the whole human / mutants, of like, I don't know, you just have to register to I don't know,
just to live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it just kicks off the theme.
I was gonna ask you guys, because I feel like, so in this situation you have Magneto, who's like a Holocaust survivor, and then it kind of fits. I feel like with the MCU, what do they do now with Charles, and especially Magneto, who, if you do a Holocaust survivor now, the age is not really gonna line up. You'd need a Magneto in his 90s, and I don't think they're gonna do that.
Are you saying like how they would show his origin, or like?
Well, yeah, because in
really
the comics it's always been the Holocaust, right? But I feel like now in the MCU, when they bring him in, it's gonna have to be something different, right? Because that's so.
Yeah, but do they have to touch even on his origin, or just like this character's around?
I think they will, because if he is Magneto, they're gonna have to explain why is he against the humans, right? And that always comes to, well, they divide us. I've had this theory for a little bit that I feel like the comic book community needs to prepare itself. But I think both Charles Magneto, I think they're gonna be black in my opinion, and I think they're gonna maybe base it around like the Malcolm X, like Martin Luther King sort of era, because it's more current. So I could see that, but other than that, I just don't know, and I'm not great with like the events of history in Canada, let alone America. So that's why I was wondering what they're gonna do when they get that, unless there's just some funky time travel and Thanos did some shit and like, oh, he brought some fuel from the Holocaust and what happened to be, oh, Kyle's brain's moving. You trying to think of something?
I'm trying to think. I was like, no.
Right. Well, that, or maybe they just make up a situation that happened in that world that's similar to the Holocaust, but maybe they fudge the numbers, or
That's quite possible.
yeah.
I think that'd probably be the better way, maybe, to go about it than to actually use a historical event.
But that's what they did for Magneto, right? And I think that does help for his character because you have that tie of like he survived the Holocaust, one of the worst events ever. So you could see him not wanting that to happen, right? Where that's so, and that's where maybe if it's Disney, but with it, if it's something made up, it does lose that effect a little bit, right? Because it didn't affect us at all. We go, oh, it's just some Thanos thing or something that happened in the MCU, you know, the Sokovia Accords, you know.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, it's something I didn't really think about.
Just something to think about because it's
I'll ponder it now.
Yeah.
Tickle the brain.
Yeah.
and it just racked my mind how they're gonna introduce them and if they're gonna be young or old. I just don't know which way they're gonna go, and I'm very excited for that. It's gonna be a little ways away, but then we get introduced to Rogue. She's backpacking it up, you know. She's going across Canada.
Sorry,
in Alberta.
where was she originally? Because I felt like she was in like a southern country. Or sorry, a southern state.
state.
Yeah, a southern country. That's where Magneto's coming from.
So she, I mean, I don't know if she was actually in a southern state. I figured she was kind of in
Well,
Mississippi.
she's southern, so let's just
Yeah.
hope. But no,
And
it
then
is.
She gets
It's
down there
it's-
up to northern Alberta.
it's Meriden, Mississippi.
That would make sense.
The
Yeah.
sixth largest city in Mississippi. So there you go. So that's where Rogue is from in this movie, and she's looking for Lawson Town, and this is Lawson Town. And it's just this little buttfuck nowhere in Canada.
Oh, it looked like a town that I've been to, honestly, for like a hockey tournament or something. Just like covered in snow, just frozen.
Mm.
There's a little tin shack in the middle.
And then
Definitely would never be like a wrestling ring or.
There's like
fighting
bare
ring.
knuckle boxing going on.
you'd be surprised, man. You know, I've seen that stuff in Rutland all the time. How do you think I made my living for a while?
We're not even that north.
And then yeah, it's underground Rutland. First rule about Rutland Fight Club is there is no Rutland Fight Club. And then she's going to the bar. Actually, it's a very seedy place. You know, not looking too good. Lots of bad people. And then she sees this guy, you know, this young dashing man in the cage, and it's the Wolverine. One, I want to make one shout is the announcer. I really like that actor because he's from a few episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I just want to shout that out. Yeah,
Definitely not something I know.
no, it's just a Travis fanboy.
Nerd.
Oh yeah, I love that show. And then we get introduced to Wolverine. There's the guy's really jacked to fight him when he's asked who's gonna fight. He's like, "Oh, fight him!" And he gets right up and he goes in, and then Wolverine just
Don't get him in
destroys
the
himself.
nuts. Don't hit him in the nuts. It's like, okay,
I
I
was
think I got
expecting.
it.
I was expecting him to get the nuts. He didn't actually do it.
I think he kind of did.
Yeah. When he was
Like,
down.
No, when he's
Yeah.
down and then went to kick him in the stomach, I think it was like implied that he was kicking him.
Oh, can't show that PG-13 movie, no nut shot. So
Well, and early 2000s, so they didn't get away with too much.
yeah. So what do you guys think about this whole setup? You got Rogue in there, you got Wolverine, the set. So first talk about the set before we get into what do you think about the whole Wolverine fight underground? Then you guys can talk about how you feel about Rogue or Wolverine in general.
I think it's fine. I actually liked Wolverine in this like underground fighting and kind of looking like a drunk while being a drunk.
Definitely, he's drinking and smoking a cigar in between
Oh,
every
yeah.
fight. Not great cardio, but
Yeah, but like I think it just proves like okay, this is like a burly man who doesn't really care about anything and it's just like doing something for the sake of doing it. So
Mhm.
I think it really
getting some cash so he can go
Set-
town to town.
yeah, it
Yeah,
sets the
exactly.
tone without him actually having to say anything. So you kind of just have an idea of what he's about. And then it's kind of weird that Rogue kind of comes into this like underground fight place
I
and
don't think she knew that,
Well,
right? I don't know why she's looking
Why
for
was
Lawson.
she? Yeah, that's
or-
what I was just gonna ask.
Maybe it's just she was looking for a small town Canada. Well, no, remember she did say that's why. Because remember her and the boyfriend at the beginning, she has this whole map of places she wants to see. I don't know why she wants to see Lawson, but maybe it's just like there's some importance to her. It's just something she wants to do. So they did set that up. So I think it was just probably that happened. Her parents freaked out, didn't want her. So what she gonna do? She's gonna travel. What her original plan was, but she just has a lot less money now to do it. And yeah, so that's why she's in Lawson.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Kirkland, you like the setup?
Yeah, it didn't like stick with me or anything, but I wasn't like triggered by it by any means. Wolverine, or Logan in general. is
Why are you
just-
guys assuming that you'd be triggered by it? It just has to be like.
I don't know. You're asking for my take, and I'm not on either side of the spectrum. I'm just kind of in limbo right now. But no, like it fits his character of just like he doesn't have his roots tied to anywhere really. He just I don't know, kind of not necessarily looking for a purpose in life, but just doesn't know what else to do. So let's just drink and buy time, right? You need money to buy food and alcohol, so might as well just do what you're good at and just kick the shit out of some Canadians.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, I really like it. So honestly, we're gonna talk about him a lot. But how do you guys feel about Hugh Jackman and his first time as Wolverine? This is obviously their debut. The first thing I'll just add is for me, just it's so funny to see where he's come from Logan and then the Wolverine to now, where one, he looks a lot younger, but man, is he skinny in this movie. Like, and he's still like in good shape. Like, I'm not saying that.
He's just like thicker.
He's
toned. He's toned, but like in this, like, or yeah, now he's cut. But like in this, he's just very toned, very no like
a
body
mangy
fat.
little Wolverine.
yeah. Like he's been traveling a lot. But what do you guys think about Hugh Jackman overall the first time?
It's funny that you mentioned like how we've seen him in Logan, because like as soon as I saw him, that's just the first thing you think of is just like where he is now, or I guess where he was in Logan. It's just like just the journey that guy went on like in that role. It's just crazy. So seeing him now, like looking back on it, it's pretty crazy. Just because, like, I don't know, when you watch that back in 2000, you don't expect him to be in that role for, like, over a decade,
17
right?
years.
Yeah, exactly. Almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, definitely noticed he was a lot smaller, a lot scrawnier. I loved his, like, mutton chops. He just looks like a Wolverine, right? And then they kind of added those little spikes to... Was that just, like, a throw to, like, the original suit?
Yeah, his hair. Because, funny enough, Kevin Feige was one of the producers on this movie. This was back in the day when he was, like, he was also the Daredevil. He did a few, like, Feige, like, some people might not know, he didn't just start with the MCU. He cut his teeth, and I think that's why the MCU works so well, because he worked on a bunch of other comic book films before that. I think he kind of got to see like what worked and what didn't, but it was his idea of the hair, because they weren't going to do things. Well, you got to do the hair, so classic Feige, coming in. But yeah, I think that's supposed to be a shout out to, because his costume also has like the eyelids that go up, so I think that's the best you're going to get is that hair. And it's a nice looking wig or pompadour or whatever it is, because it's definitely not his real hair. It's very tough as someone that legitimately used to do that look. Kyle remembers that point in my life. At some point I did grow up my hair and I did it like that. So
that's true.
It was a big I'll just get pictures. It was a big 50-50. People either loved or hated. I imagine Kyle, you're on the hated side.
I think so, because I've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
What about the mutton chops?
I hate it. I couldn't do that. No, I couldn't even try. So
I don't think he could grow it. That's his issue.
I couldn't. I tried the beard this year and it's gone now, as you can see. So clearly it was not that successful. So
cool. Are we talking about the chemistry between?
Well, Kyle didn't get to talk about Hugh Jackman, you bastard.
Sorry.
Or myself, actually.
Yes, you did. You did your 2 fights.
I didn't talk about him as an actor.
Okay.
Well, I think he's a great actor. No, it was cool to see him being young again, like as Kurt said. Like you're used to him, what he's his age now, and kind of go back there. And I kind of forgot how fast he regens as well.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh right, like after just watching Logan, like
Logan,
takes in for like days to regen. This is like, oh, a couple seconds, I'm
young
good to
spry.
go.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool, and just to see him, I feel like he really owned that role right off the hop too.
Yeah.
It's not like he had some time to settle in. He just did it. I really enjoyed just watching him from the beginning. So I don't really have much to say. I think Hugh Jackman really did a good job.
Yeah, I think he nails it for the most part. I always give him a bit more credit because I have some trivia at the end. I always do, but he actually, for some reason we'll get into, he started. He got this role 3 weeks into filming, because they had another person supposed to be Wolverine, and he had to drop out like last minute. So the movie was already shooting, and then they cast him, and then so throughout the production too, he was like constantly working out. So that's why sometimes you can see like he feels like he looks a little bigger than he does. So it's pretty good for considering he already like it was really rushed to get him in there. I think he's really good. I think it's the equivalent to me of Chris Evans in Thor, or Chris Hemsworth, or Chris Evans in Captain America, or Chris Hemsworth in Thor, where I think he's better than those. I think there's a little bit missing. I think X2, the next one, is when we really feel like that's Wolverine. I think just because, I think maybe if we spent more time with the character too, because it's a lot of introduction in the world, so I think he is good, but I don't think we get, even though he's like the main character, enough time to fully fall. I love him in this role, but I feel like he obviously does get better and better, but I feel like the next one's when like, oh, that's full in the Wolverine, where this feels like he's still, for me, just figuring out a little bit, so but I think he's good. I think he's one of my favorite performances all time as Wolverine. Logan was fantastic. So I'm excited to watch these again and talk about them. What do you guys feel about Rogue? Obviously, she goes through a lot in this movie. What do you just feel about her in general? Kyle does not look like he has the most pleasant look on his face. So.
I don't know. I find
Rogue hater.
Kid actors are kind of hard sometimes. But
she was nominated for an Academy Award when she was like 10,
Oh, good for her.
Kid schools.
Yeah. I don't know. I just have, I guess like now, like way back in back in the day, I would have been like, oh yeah, this is cool. But now I look at it, I'm like, I'm kind of over it. But
That's funny that you mentioned that because
What do you mean? What do you mean you're over
I'm
it?
kind of just not like, I get, as a kid, like you grow up and you're thinking, oh, I could be like that. That would be so cool. And now I'm like, I look back and say, this is. I don't know how to explain. How do I explain this, Kirkland?
I don't know. Yeah,
I feel
try
like
and say
Kirkland
it.
knows what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about like her in general, or like you as?
Yeah,
I think
I'm
I'm
lost.
talking about me in general. If I was a kid back in the day and like looking at her in that role, I'd be like, oh, I want to be like her because I want to have like those powers. I think that would be really cool.
What?
You don't even know what her powers were.
I don't even know what the powers were, but like I would want that because it'd be sweet. 'Cause
I apologize. I did not know that's what you were going
And
with.
like that's not. I never looked at Rogue and was like, "That's the powers I want."
I'm
either.
I don't
just
want to
saying
touch anyone.
any of the kid
Yeah.
stuff. It's just like hard. Like I guess for me, I'm looking at movies because I want to relate to the character, and I can't.
I
relate
definitely
to
felt
Rogue.
that way when I was younger.
Can you? I don't
And
think.
I think that's my issue. Not my issue. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just for me, it's hard for me to get into the character because.
First of all, I feel like she's like probably past graduation, right?
I was gonna say I don't feel like she's a child.
Yeah, I don't feel like she's a child
No, you
actress.
think?
And I feel like I don't think relating her is supposed to be as a kid. I think you're supposed to relate to her. What would you do, Kyle, if you could no longer touch anybody? You know, like what would you like? How would you live that life? You'd be in fear constantly that anyone's gonna touch you. Like if you trip or fall, like I'm not even making it in the innuendo way, just like in general, right? And you still don't even know what. Like you said, you don't know what these powers do. She probably doesn't know what these powers do. You know, I think that's what you're supposed to relate to. She's lost and she doesn't know what to do. Her parents have ejected her. You know?
The actress was fine. She was better with Hugh Jackman.
Oh wow, that's the truth. That's coming out. Wow.
I think she was fine. I was just like, for me there was not much like I can understand like she's trying to do this, but I feel like every time she was with Hugh Jackman, he really brought her out like the best out of her.
That's not the character you're glowing on to that you're trying to say.
Yeah.
You're trying to say other than if she's with Logan, you don't really care about Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of in that same boat. I remember.
We
when
tried to do it a nice way when we started, but really, no.
I remember when I was younger and I saw like that character, and I don't know, I don't know. I just thought that she was like, kind of like I mean, she is kind of the center point of this movie, but I felt like she was just more of a interesting character than what I feel now.
Mhm.
I agree with Kyle how she's definitely like lifted by being on screen with Logan because they do have some good chemistry in there.
Yeah, I think they
It's-
got a good like brother sister
Yeah.
dynamic.
yeah, exactly. So, it's kind of interesting like transition too, because like Logan is he's just this bar fighter going like to town, just beating up dudes. And then he just like totally adopts this character, and like he like truly like loves her by the end of it. It's just like you know, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you throughout this movie. It's just like I don't know. It kind of happens pretty quick, and
I think a lot of this movie, that's one of my things I guess I didn't even say my overall. I feel that I won't get into it. This movie's on an hour and 40, which is so rare for like a comic book movies nowadays, but it's hour and 44 minutes, but man, so much stuff happens in this movie, it's ridiculous. Like it will when we get through some of these events, but it's just they do form a bond really quickly. But I guess it's just because they're supposed to be like they're both lost, right? They have nowhere to go, and that's one of the things I do. Like I think some people, I think it's a minority, but one of our Twitter followers, and he donated to our stream last year, the past few years. He's a big time Hugh Jackman hater for Wolverine, but he just feels he's not a fan of how emotional the character is. I like it because to me, I've always viewed Wolverine as a tortured soul. I don't view him as just a badass because to me, if he's just a badass, that's boring.
Mhm.
That's why I like that he is that badass and he's always trying to portray it and push people away. But for some reason, like this girl is just like he's gleamed onto, whether he sees part of himself, whether he just wants to help her out. But I've always liked that he does take her under his wing, and I like the back and forth they have in this movie of like. When she tries to run, he goes after her, and then when he's leaving the end, he's like, she's like, oh, you running again? Like,
Yeah.
I really like that. It maybe helps that I also have a younger sister too, so I think that that if you have a
Maybe
sister,
that's why it worked more for me.
yeah, but you don't like your sister alone, only when she's hanging with you.
Correct.
But
Can't be by herself. She's hanging out with no boys.
but yeah, I like that aspect. I think Jackman does that really well, towing that line of being comedic, a badass, but also like that kind of like tragic soul, right? And I think we get that more, but in this movie, it's just kind of hinted at. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like going back to what I was talking about Rogue, it's just like I felt like when she was on the screen, not necessarily just like alone, like maybe if she's with Magneto or she's with like the other X-Men like back at the house, I just felt like it was just like, like give me an next scene or something like that. I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of feel for her because obviously it's a pretty shitty situation to be in. Like you literally can't touch anyone. Like you can't have another kiss or anything like that, right? But I don't know. Like I did really like the chemistry between her and Logan. Like you mentioned, it was just like, oh, you running, or like what he said to her, and then at the end she brings it right back on him. So I did like that, but I don't know. I like the little hair change. I thought it was a little like. Now it's like a little dated, cheesy, like the way it happened. I don't know. It just, I thought it was a little funny.
Yeah, anything more to add?
I remember being younger, just like, man, it's so cool how her hair changed like that.
To Rogue?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, because that's what I want to jump forward. So honestly, because what happens is they're on the road. I got some notes, but they're on the road. That's when Sabretooth comes, and then Storm, Cyclops. And the reason I'm going really fast is because I feel like another conflict with this movie, and I think it's 100%, is I feel like other than Logan, you get that a little bit with Rogue, but like Kirkland was saying with Rogue, you don't like care as much when she's by herself. I feel that's kind of the way with all the X-Men, and that's one thing where it's never affected me because Wolverine's my favorite X-Men, and it's not just because of this movie. I was a big fan of comics. The 1992 animated series was a classic, but I can't understand if Cyclops is your favorite, if Storm is your favorite. And that's why I lost the franchise, which we'll talk about.
I gotta interject though, because I feel like when I was younger, just Cyclops' like visor alone, he was just like my favorite character.
But no, that's not. But I'm saying if he was your favorite, I feel like most of the X-Men in this movie, unless you're Magneto, Charles, Logan, and a little bit of Rogue, and I think Rogue gets rejected later on. I think they're just kind of there.
What about Jean though? She's interesting. A lot of mystery around her.
Is there though in this movie, or is it just when you're coming in?
Hugh Jackman right off the hop. Like falls in love with this chick who like talks like maybe 5 lines to her the entire movie up until then.
Oh yeah, it's kind of, that's the fast stuff. But I feel like
maybe
other than Jean being as having like we know her powers telekinesis, and she's pretty much just a love object for Logan, right? Like what else is to her character? There's nothing for her or Scott or Storm. Like they do nothing in this movie. They're just kind of there.
I was gonna say maybe I'm just thinking about like the later movies when they kind of go deeper into her character. Maybe I'm just holding on to those memories.
But in this movie, I feel like all the X-Men, it's definitely in the franchise, but it's definitely the Wolverine show. It's all about him. The other X-Men are just kind of there, and the thing is like, it's weird because like you said, we got the other movies and we know these characters, but I'm trying to think about if I was this age and I saw this movie at that time. I just feel like we would ding it so much for like I know nothing about Scott really. I know like what do we know about Storm in this movie?
Her name?
I remember watching this when it first came out, and like because my dad read like the original comics and stuff, so he was telling me who all these characters are. So it's like I don't know, you just hear these cool names. It's just like, oh, it's sweet. That's Storm. She makes storms.
She makes storms.
On that same note though, when they're at the trailer or whatever, or the camper, and sorry, I'm getting a little too excited. Get riled up.
Was there a spike on your headphones too?
Yeah, there was.
Okay, no. Did you turn? I think you turned them up accidentally. Which way did you go?
How do I sound?
No, I turned his
down. A little loud?
No, that's up. The way you just went. Turning my way is up. That's up.
No, I was just turning the other way.
Hello.
I was so sorry for these folks.
No, wait, they won't see this. They'll be edited out.
Oh, this is even better.
Yeah, that's why we're not live. Yeah.
No, there was like a big spike at the beginning. I was just turning him down just a little.
But he is.
There you go. How am I sounding now?
Yeah, because sometimes you're talking way up here and then.
I know. I'm sorry.
But now it's better. Now that you're closer.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I don't think you gotta be. Well, you can be. See, I spiked it because I was too close, right?
Yeah.
So gotta find the right medium.
So,
But
yeah. How's this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just won't move my head. I'll just like look at Cal.
You can just like when you're when you're
I'm doing. I'm kind of going off the side here.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Can you not hear it if you're like over here?
Well, I'm still talking to the mic.
Okay.
Or am I there?
Fair enough. I'll just. Okay, yeah, that works.
Cool.
All right, we gotta jump back in.
We're good. Yeah. That's
okay.
good. That's a good thing about being live, you know.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention at the camper scene when like the X-Men show up. And it's such like a cheesy sequence of events when they get Cyclops to he like uses his laser beam to like cut the he cuts the seatbelt, and then Storm just like pops her head in, grabs Rogue, and the only thing I was thinking about, I'm like, couldn't you just like put the fire out like with her powers? But instead they had to get like Cyclops to like do the precision cut on
she
the.
She could make it rain. She really could. Yeah.
So I don't know. since we were talking about Storm, it just popped into my mind. I had to bring it up.
I actually thought the exact same thing. When I was watching it, it's like, oh, she's just gonna like she put her hand in and like put out the fire and like no.
Yeah,
It's
no. It's like get Scott in there, do a precision cut, and then instead of just getting Scott to help her out, he moves back out. They do like a substitution. Storm jumps in there, reaches in, gets Rogue.
Yeah, I think for the most part in this movie, I don't think the action's that great, and that's the thing that suffers. I think there's one good scene at the end with Mystique and Wolverine. I think that's really well done, but
You didn't like when the camper blew up? Because that's like the classic 2000s action pack, like flames blowing up.
No, and I hate that. It's so on the nose. I guess some people might like it, but I hate when she's like, "You should put on your seatbelt." He's like, "Oh, don't tell me what to do." And then right when he says that, a tree comes and he goes flying out. Like to his mother.
Shouts out to Taylor.
To his mother's-in-law's car bandit. But like he just goes flying out. I think I like the reveal. Also, we kind of seen it, but I liked the reveal of him healing when he gets up and she's just like, "Are you okay?" And just like you can slowly see it.
Oh, that CGI looks so great too.
Sometimes.
Actually, the CGI wasn't that bad.
I thought it was pretty dated.
I think.
Well, obviously it's dated, but for the time, like, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think him healing was fine. I think there's other ones that I've seen this curriculum before where it's like at the end fight with Sabretooth, or no, when he's in the big spinning dome, his like claws get twisted. When he is in the end fight with Sabretooth and they do that thing where Sabretooth throws him and he goes around the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And he's like turns into complete like PS2 character. And he just
And
comes
then he just lands there in his pose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I actually made a note of that because I wanted to bring that up.
yeah, so also get put into the mansion. What do you guys feel about the X? Because we're talking about Rogue. What do you guys feel about the X-Men in general? To me, I feel like they're all kind of generic. I like the actress that does Jean Grey. I think her and Hugh Jackman actually do have good chemistry. I really like Cyclops as a character. Some people kind of bang on him, but I think he's like a Superman Cap character where he's like the moral compass. But in this and the rest of the franchise, he just gets done dirty. He's supposed to be the leader of this team, and he sure does not feel like it. And to me, you cannot, like, you can tell Halle Berry, but I mean, like, her star power, this could have been anybody, because it's just like, I feel barely in this at all, you know. She's just kind of around, like, and she's doing this accent that she drops for every other movie after this. But yeah, I think Magneto and Charles and whatnot and old Logan are good, but I think the rest of X-Men are just kind of there, you know. They do some cool powers.
What about Mystique?
We'll get to her, but I think I love her. Yeah.
You think you love her?
Not like that, but yeah.
There's not much more to say about them. Like you said, they're kind of just there to fill up gaps. You know, throw some cool superheroes in the mix. Scott, like I already said, I always liked him just because of his visor. But like, I don't know, he has some funny like back and forth with Logan. It's just like, stay away from my girl. And
which is so that conversation's so stupid though, because
that's how you would talk. Like that's what I mean. Like this movie is like it's
like a time capsule.
It's a product of its time.
Yeah.
Like all this kind of like joke. Like, you know, Scott seems like kind of like the classic jock dude.
Yeah.
And like Wolverine is kind of like kind of the outcast, but
he's
like,
the bad boy.
He's the bad boy, and the girl likes the bad boy, but she's with the popular guy type, like football player.
Yeah, he's the one that your mom says, "Stay away from that boy," and he's there with his cigar and his. No, I agree with you that the scene's dead. For me, it's just like the scene starts with Logan being like, "Oh, you're gonna tell me to stay away from your girl?" And then Scott goes, "Oh, if I had to say that, she wouldn't be my girl." And then he ends the scene by being like, "Hey, Logan, stay away from my girl."
I loved it.
I love it. Because like
so
the way you break it down, it's so cheesy and like it doesn't really make sense, but I loved it.
Oh, I quite enjoyed that.
Kyle, thoughts on the fellow X-Men?
I think we kind of hit the nail on the hit the head of the nail.
Wow, I want a distinct character breakdown.
I wanted to say, I guess I already said it. Toad incredibly overpowered in this movie.
Yeah.
I know we'll get to the laser scene.
That's the second time you shut it out. You can't wait to
I just couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over it.
I think Jean did a really good. I actually like the character Jean a lot as well as just as much as Wolverine, to be completely honest.
Wow, that's a big statement. Just as much.
Maybe a little less, but like still, I thought she did a really good job of kind of just being unknown of her own capabilities, but wanting to push herself as well too, what she could be capable of doing. You know, that's when you see her putting on the helmet that, oh my goodness,
Cerebro.
Professor X.
Cerebral.
I think
I thought there was an I in there.
No.
Is it a PH? Cerebral?
I think it's
I think it's CEBERO.
Anyways,
Yeah.
when she put that on and
with
like,
another R.
Oh, sorry.
Between the B and the O.
Cerebo.
I kind of liked it,
Yeah, I
but
really
then
like.
I'm trying to
I know,
talk
I'm just
here.
bugging you. Just bugging you.
Anyways, but some of the times when she was using her power, like moving objects, like when she went to go inject the some sort of syringe into Logan, and just like watching the special effects of just like it lifting in one direction and then like slowly going across like horizontally, and then she just like kind of slowly grabs it. It's like, oh, this is awful CGI. But like whatever, and then she like goes to put it in, and it's like, oh, this is bad. But I still liked it. But anyways, like I think she did a really good job. Cyclops, like I think it's just kind of that classic narrative of the product of its time. Like I said before, the 2000s, where it just felt like all those characters are kind of put in, but now they kind of have powers instead of, well, that theme I guess going with it, and now they have to work together, and it's kind of like the Breakfast Club, I guess.
Very lesser, better Breakfast Club.
But just like just groups of people who are different that have to work together.
It is. It's just that, like, obviously, and that's why we might see it when we get these new X-Men. But if you think about just in this movie alone, all you can describe like him as is the jock guy, right? Like,
That's all I can think of. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you describe Storm as. You describe Jean as like the love interest. You know, like they're all just like they're just a sentence. What is your character? Boom, and that's it. Other than Logan, they don't get any. And I think Rogue does get like some scenes and some development, but the rest of them are just kind of there.
But
just,
I think that's fine because like this is a movie where you're starting off like everyone kind of knows like an idea of who Wolverine is, but like not like Cyclops or Storm.
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why, and that's why.
And it's kind of confusing why they use Rogue as like the main character, but like I guess it's just more to get more interest, either through like the younger generation or just to add
the kids, right, Kyle?
Yeah, or the kids.
The kid actor. I think because I don't think Logan's someone you want to start with though, because I think he's supposed to be an outsider, and if you start with the main character as the outsider, he's not, right? And I think they didn't want to take any of the like core X-Men out, so I feel like what's a way we can get a window into this world but have someone kind of new and fresh, right? And I think that's what reason she's in there, and her being younger, you give Logan a reason to protect her, you know, that sort of deal.
And then obviously if you're watching this for the first time, when you first like get Magneto's like intentions, like you kind of think that he's after Wolverine, right? Because that's what they're kind of hinting at. And then obviously it's Rogue, but I don't know.
That's some 2000 scene right there.
Okay.
Let's talk about because after actually I want to. What do you guys think about the whole scene of like the school introduction? Because obviously like Jackman's knocked out. It's soon, which is a very scary scene. Hayden as a kid just putting the needle in his arm, you know, needles. But then he breaks out and then he's running around. He's hearing all the voices. He runs into class. He's like half naked. These poor children. Like,
he put a sweater
He
on.
his bare chest.
He had sweat.
He literally grabbed the sweater. It's like, what? Okay, if I was like running around scared, I would not go, I'm gonna open this closet and here's a sweater and I'm gonna put it on because my moment of showing my like top is done.
Yeah, I even then, you know, bare chested. But then they kind of give like a montage of Xavier explaining what the school is, what all the mutants do, everything like that. What do you guys feel about like the introduction to X-Mansion, or like they like?
I liked it because it kind of puts in that mystery of like you have no idea where you are, and then he goes up a level, and then it almost seems
fucking jet.
It almost seems like there's another person like in the elevator. It's like, come on this way, but it's just like Charles in his head.
Why would he go in the if someone said come in the elevator, I would not go in the
I
elevator.
agree with you, especially if it's like in your mind.
Oh yeah.
He didn't know it was in his mind though. He was looking around.
Oh.
But then when you get to the elevator, there's no one there.
And the door opens up.
Well, the door closed before he could jump out.
But no, he kind of looks at it. It's like, why would you have gone in there in the first place? I would have stayed at the no.
Yeah,
it's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Definitely the plot needed to go that way, but
I don't know. I liked how Charles was just kind of like speaking in his mind and just kind of messing around with him, and then he doesn't know if he's at like a prison, if he doesn't know like where the hell he is. Yeah, and then it like shows like the kids just running around, and he's kind of puzzled, and then Charles kind of leads him right into his classroom, kind of talks to him. I don't know. I liked it because it like. It's hard to say because I've seen this classroom for so long, like decades now, of all these movies where it's like this is the first time that we kind of see it. So if you watched it for the first time, you're like, wait, this is a school for like mutants? Like what's going on here?
Yeah. And then you get the intro, like kids are playing basketball outside, and
They're
then you get,
using their powers.
yeah, I think there's a quick shot lane montage where she's like, Jean Grey's like throwing plates at Scott, and he's like, he's like shooting them down. It's like, all right, that's a waste of plates.
It's just like a product of its time.
I know, but I'm still gonna call it out at the moment.
Yeah, I really liked how it ended though, because like Wolverine was just so set on just like screw you guys, like you guys have your little like nicknames, you guys are just lame, dumbest thing I've ever heard, like blah blah blah, and then Charles just like gets in his mind, he's like, we all like I have my tricks too. It's just like a little like one line, he's like, it's like, what is this place? And then yeah, it goes to that montage of Jean and Scott showing off their skill.
And actually, at first I thought it was kind of cheesy and like being in the school type thing, but then now kind of what we're talking about right now. Well, I'm just switching.
You're switching the scenes.
No, it's just like the volume is.
Oh yeah, because you moved away.
When you actually
Yeah.
look in the mic.
This is for insiders. This is the first time Kyle and Kirkland are using the mic, so
It's an
we'll check
adjustment.
out the-
Okay,
oh,
it's
yeah,
quite the adjustment to do.
yeah.
Sorry for the spikes.
It's all good.
I'm so sorry.
Just do like what I got a good whatever. You see what that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you know-
How many
that's
casts have you done though with these like
4.
4 times more than me.
100%. That's what I'm saying. You know, I thought it's been more of a pain if you're that close, unless your breaks likes to just mumble into it, but it's good. But it's on that side. That's why I sit back a little bit because you can still hear me. But you know.
Well, what do I sound best as? Close, like a mumbler?
I think
Or?
I think it's better to be further back because
Getting
there's less
wild.
chance to spike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fair enough.
So it's just as long as you're directly talking into it, you know.
Yeah.
Again, they won't hear this. Kyle's so worried. Kyle's like used to being live. He's like, oh my god, the fans are they were so unprofessional. I'm putting this in the end credits. Like, people can see Kyle.
I'm just so confused. Oh my god, this is awful.
Crippling anxiety.
No, so back to this school. I think it was a good intro, and it was actually kind of funny how they're going back and forth on all these names that they're calling each other, like their real name, but then they go like with their, I don't know, other
Code
their
name.
code name,
Code name.
nickname,
Storm.
and
Cyclops.
and he's just like poking fun of them. It's like, your name is Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, that's his.
That's my fighting name.
It's his fighting name. It's just
yeah, but
fighting
like,
name.
but at the same time, it's like you can't really poke fun at someone else when you have like just as bad as a name.
It's like
too.
Storm. Cyclops. What do I call you?
Wolverine. Wow.
Wow.
But no, I thought it was a good intro, and like you can definitely. That's why I liked Hugh Jackman in this movie, because after that, I think he did a good job of just like realizing like, hey, like this is like people are like me as well too. I'm not the only one. Where I feel like before he's always kind of felt like he was the only one doing his own thing, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like we all know about like mutants and how they're against.
Well, he was like
humans.
an experiment though, so he was kind of different from the mutants.
He still is mutant though.
Still.
But he doesn't know what happened.
He
to
doesn't
him,
know he was an experiment, right?
Right.
At
Oh,
this
right.
point, he's just
Yeah.
having those weird.
I know too
dreams.
much.
Yeah, you know too much, Johnson.
No, but that's what I enjoy. But like all the characters together, I think we touched on it earlier, is that they do a better job together than being separate from it.
The X-Men.
And like
not
this
the
really
X-Men.
like solidified that idea.
So then, for you, and obviously it's like completely different. Are you opposed to with these new movies of them doing a like a Cyclops Jean movie, a Storm movie, then leading up to like Avengers, like kind of what they did with the MCU? Because some people said that could be the route they go, right? Of instead of doing just X-Men, they do kind of, let's say you got no Cap, you got no Iron Man, you got to build your big stars. What if it's again like building up to their Avengers, but it's X-Men?
I feel like you would still need to throw in like some supporting characters though. Like you couldn't just have the Toad movie.
Oh,
with
you
no-
could-
Well,
have
I think Tony's like in this movie.
Have Cyclops and Storm at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's how they start. Because that's how like it is only Cyclops and Storm. I'm pretty sure that save Rogue and
Logan, yeah.
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 So you could maybe have that, but I don't know. I feel kind of weird because unless they do a better job of explaining the characters and where they come from, but I guess it's hard because right now you have no idea, but later on down the road, that you find out about Cyclops and like how he got his powers and like the struggles that he kind of went through, but you don't get that in the first movie. So we're talking about the first movie.
No, I meant in these movies. I meant like the new.
But even in the newer movies, that would be better if they
Yeah.
did. Like I wouldn't be opposed, but then Kirkland's right. You can't just have one character. You would have to have
That's what I think, but
one or two.
they did Guardians, right? No one knew who the fuck those were, and I think they could do like, I don't want that. I want just like an X-Men movie start that. I don't like.
Yeah,
the
but that
idea.
would be Guardians.
What?
That would be Guardians.
Yeah, And I want that with
Oh,
X-Men.
you don't want them separate.
I don't want like just a Storm movie and then because I
was
don't.
confused.
I was confused too.
Yeah, because some people said that might be the route they go, because right, they did that with Avengers, right? Instead of just doing Avengers and breaking them off, they went, oh, we're going to be Iron Man first, we're going to be Cap. I don't want X-Men to be the event movie. I want that to be the movie, and then make an event movie something else, and that's just a big.
So just to clarify,
Yeah, okay.
you're not talking like, are you talking like the X-Men, like there would be the X-Men alone?
Yeah.
So the X-Men would be the Guardians, and then when
That's
they
what I
meet
would want,
meet Iron Man, blah blah blah, like all those other guys, that's the Avengers moment.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
would
I
want.
thought you
yeah.
meant like the standalone movies of like Jean Grey.
But some people have said that. What if they do that? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get your opinions
It's
on.
not a bad idea if they did that though either.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
It's
wouldn't be
not a bad
opposed to it, because how else are they supposed to build up their characters if
They did it with Guardians, though, right? I think
No, that's fine with
they gotta
Guardians.
pick a smaller roster and more succinct and like focus on them, not just make it like I honestly think, and this like what the show will be about. I think they won't do Wolverine right away, so I feel like they should instead of with this. I felt like they were clear like Wolverine's our main character, and the rest of them are just kind of around. We're Guardians. Chris Pratt's main character, but all of them get a showcase. That's what I would want X-Men. I don't want. And I'm fine if they do it, but I don't want, like I said, a Storm movie, a Jean movie, Cyclops. I want them as a unit. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder for money wise and even time, you could learn more about those people then, right?
Yeah.
So and it's a big deal.
Yeah, 100%.
And
And then
money.
it would be like better, like the X-Men like growing as a group than just like being like already a group, established group. So I think that would be like a lot more interesting. Like if I were to watch this movie again, like if we would replay, I guess this whole X-Men Origins, I guess is what's happening right now. I wouldn't want already like, oh, we're already X-Men. It's like, well, how did X-Men form? Like, I want to watch that progression
Yeah.
to be like the X-Men group, and if, like, and that's how we built the school, and this is what we're doing, and
Built this.
yeah, and but like then it would be more interesting. You'd be more involved in like seeing all these. And that way you can have your outside characters and like, okay, well, how will this character fit in this? Like, how do all these characters will become one team?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of essentially like Avengers, but X-Men.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot more interesting because otherwise,
Wow, Kyle's on that full bandwagon.
I'm switching that.
He's
full
talked
bandwagon.
himself into it now.
Because otherwise, you kind of just have like your team and like, okay, well, we're gonna add maybe another. Because X-Men's a big team.
It can be a massive team.
It can
You got
be
lots
a-
of characters.
like-
it can be a whole. That's why it was its own universe almost by itself for a while.
Yeah, like even these original movies, like they had their small X-Men team, kind of like what they had in this movie, Storm, Cyclops. You throw Logan in there kind of near the end. He's kind of a in and out kind of guy.
So you
But
gotta
then,
get, like,
but
five.
then you add more movies, and they like the team grows though. Like they
Oh,
introduce Beast, they introduce.
And they never really flesh them out. They're just kind of
but they keep adding it. So I don't know.
I don't think it's a bad route to go.
Yeah, but like we've already seen it.
Yeah, I guess.
We've seen with Avengers though, not with X-Men, right? That would be the pitch.
That is true.
If it ain't fixed, don't break it.
Right.
Or broken.
Just
don't
let
fix it.
Feige decide.
Well, even
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
have Deadpool and like it's still X-Men.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
within like and it's not even part of X-Men. It's like its own thing, but they still incorporate
They have
X-Men.
Colossus in there. They
Yeah.
have whatever that chick's name is.
Teenage Negasonic, Teenage Warhead.
Say that 10 times fast.
No.
No, actually, don't do
I'm
that.
gonna get into so while this is going on, Charles is like, yeah, I'm gonna help you remember stuff. That's great. We got, and that's why another subplot's going on. We got the senator thing going on, which I don't think's really needed in this movie. It kind of is, but not to the extent that he is. So you got the senator. I like the reveal scene of his like little buddy as Mystique. I love the music that when she starts to change for the first time, it's just like her theme and music's really good. They kidnap him. They bring him back to their base. What do you feel? You can go. Get this all the way. What do you feel about the center plot, and then what do you feel about all these films? You got Toad, you got Mystique, you got
Well,
Sabretooth.
since you're already
Go.
mentioning Mystique, what
Go.
what about the voice change? I totally forgot about
Even
that.
that voice. Yeah, she can do that.
I was not expecting. Well, no, I know she can change the voice, but like when she was as Mystique, she had like an echo to it. Like
Oh,
there
yeah.
was like special effects.
Yeah,
that
they
were-
don't do that in
I-
the prequel movies, no.
Yeah, I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Yeah. That's a 2000s thing for sure. Like creepy looking villain, make their
Yeah.
voice something cool, you know.
How long did it take her to do that makeup?
I have that in trivia, but that's 9 hours, and there's some other stuff at 9 hours.
How's that compared to J Law?
Very little. I think the first movie Jennifer Lawrence did a lot, but now she barely does anything because she's J-Lo. And
She does like the red mask effect, where it's just CGI me.
no, she doesn't. She'll just get like it's very weak prosthetics, and that's why I'm happy she'll never play that role again. Because I like Jennifer Lawrence, but she doesn't care about Mystique.
Yeah.
The mystique
Yeah.
of Mystique.
Yeah.
It's hard to have an actress who doesn't care about the role.
It is.
Well, to build up a movie, anyways. Franchise.
For sure.
Okay.
I threw you guys the senator stuff and the group of villains.
So
Also, we
go
talked
ahead
about,
with the center because you
So-
weren't done yet.
yeah. Also, we talked about Magneto off, so we're digging him.
Senator stuff. I feel like it could have been done a lot better. I wasn't that invested in his whole situation because, like, at first you just kind of hate the guy because
Yeah.
he's just like, I don't know, he's just another stereotypical like white male in charge. It's just like fuck the establishment. But like he's super against mutants, and then he becomes a mutant, and then he kind of gets sympathetic of like, oh yeah, like I've kind of changed my mind on this whole thing, but then. I don't know, like
Guys.
he just died. He just like he just disappears, and then
water.
yeah, like what Magneto?
Worse power than Rose.
I forget. I think it was Storm that, or no, someone said it to Magneto, or it's like he died basically.
Yeah,
and then,
Storm does, yeah.
Yeah, and then Magneto's like, "Are you sure you saw what you saw?" So in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, he's still lingering around." Or something. I'm like, he's gonna pop up, surprise appearance in Logan, you know, episodes behind the scenes. But I don't know. Like I wasn't invested in his character whatsoever. I like rewatched it. I'm like, did I miss some crazy like subplot that he's gonna pop in and just change the game?
No.
But not at all. So he was definitely a write-off character.
He gives us the Stan Lee cameo, you know, when Stan Lee like sees him and he's at the hot dog stand. He's like,
Oh, I missed that.
oh, that's great.
Yeah. So for him, nothing really like nothing much more to say. The other villains.
You've been dying to talk about Toad, so go ahead.
I thought we were saying that.
Like, just how do you like Toad in general? That's what I mean. That's just
I
like
thought Toad was incredibly overpowered in this movie. He's just like he takes on like all of them at once, and then
the leaders.
oh, and he's just like flexing on them too. He like steals Cyclops' visor, and he's just wearing
right
it.
off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, these are the worst trained yeah, we're definitely talking about the end, but we're here. Yeah, these are the worst trained motherfuckers in the world. This guy's power is he's a fucking
Yeah.
toad.
And then like yeah, Charles is like amping them up. He's like Cyclops and Storm and Jean. They're my first students. They're my A team. They just get shit on by Toad. I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. Just like as a like me not being invested in this movie, I thought it was funny. But if I was like really diehard comic book fan, I just saw Toad shit on all my favorite
Yeah.
comic book heroes. It's like what the hell is this? So I don't know. I thought that was funny enough to mention. Sabretooth, I actually liked him. I liked his look in this movie.
Like those eyebrows.
Yeah. Like it's very like it's not like prosthetics that are so cheesy that it looks like it's from the 60s or like so like CGI that it's like the CGI is really really bad for early 2000s. Like it was a like a natural prosthetic. It looked decent.
Mhm.
I liked his darked out eyes. He looked mean. His roar. I liked that little scene when he went to grab the senator and then he just like disappears on him and then Magneto just leaves him in the cell. I don't know. I remember laughing at that when I was a kid and like even now expecting it still got me. I'm like, oh yeah, you did him dirty.
When he walks up against the bars too, and he's like, "Rah."
Yeah. So I don't know. I like that character. Like just to see someone that can kind of go toe to toe with Wolverine, just like another beastie looking character that can just swing for the fences.
Mhm.
So I liked him. Magneto. I don't know if you want to like mention him in his own category because I feel like
Well, we did talk about him. If you want to talk about more, you go ahead.
okay, well, alright. I thought he was great.
It's okay, you can talk about it.
You can talk about whatever you
I
want.
wasn't prepared. No, just Ian McKellen as Magneto. There's not much more to say. He just like golden casting for him or for that role. Him and Patrick Stewart, great chemistry between those two. And then I was mentioning to Travis like before the cast. It's crazy with the knowledge I have now of all like the First Class X-Men and stuff. It's just watching like him walk and like just the way he talks and just like his little like witty humor. Or like it's not much, but like when that one Holloway scene that you mentioned, when he's leaving, I forget what he says to Charles.
When he
But-
yells at him,
Yeah.
he's like, "They're the future Charles.
Yeah,
we are the future Charles." Not them."
it just sounded like Fassbender. It's just
Yeah.
like man, like they did such a good job. I don't know if it's more Fassbender being able to mimic that sort of.
I think it's that because Fassbender is
Yeah.
just a fucking
So
great actor.
shouts out to Fassbender.
Yeah.
But no, I just it's hard to picture someone else as an older Magneto than Ian McKellen because you just golden casting for that role. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love them. You almost want to root for him because like you've seen his origin story, like that horror, like the evil that he went through in the Holocaust camps, and like you can kind of like understand his motives for why he wants to just, I don't know, like what are his motives? He just wants to turn humans into mutants.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know he's killing everybody. Like
Yeah.
that's his idea, is because it's kind of like, well, why would people make a law system to like get rid of mutants
Yeah.
or ban them?
So like
for all mutants,
on
right?
paper though, like that doesn't even sound like the worst
No,
like word bad guy ever.
unless
right?
you all get rogue powers, then you're
I guess
pissed
so.
at Eric. Yeah.
Let's be Kyle. He really wants to.
He does, yeah.
Or little
Big guy,
Kyle.
Little.
Yeah, little Kyle.
Small.
Love's my
I didn't know.
favorite.
I would whatever. I'm not gonna explain myself.
But yeah, like he's that type of villain, almost like in the same category as like Loki or something. Like you just you don't want to root against him, but you know you kind of should because he is the bad guy. But you kind of feel for him. So I don't know. I love Ian McKellen's Magneto. He definitely made Magneto one of my favorite villains through the comic books. Because growing up, I was always just a Spider-Man comic book fan, but like watching these movies and then like seeing Magneto, it just made me want to invest time into like researching more about that. So he definitely like built that for me. So shouts out to him.
He built that house.
He built
This
that
is
house.
Ian McKellen's house.
We're gonna rock that house.
Right, Kyle, go.
Okay, so villains.
And the
Toad.
senator. And we want to get to
You gotta mention Toad at least once.
And Toad's the MVP of this podcast.
I can't believe like this guy just OP'd like both of them, like not even just
All
once,
three of them.
all three, like
Oh,
multiple
I know.
times.
Even like Jean Grey's big move, she
Yeah.
catches him and he just like Toad vomits in her face. It's
Oh.
like he didn't even need Sabretooth really. He's like
No.
And it's been like such a long time since I watched this like movie that I kind of forgot what happens. And so at one point when Jean Grey was like using her mind powers to like get him to like walk away and like move away with Rogue, and I thought for some reason like this would be a good opportunity for Wolverine to go and pick up Rogue and like steal him from him.
I'm sorry, I'm missing
no, I
the
don't know what
scene.
you're talking
No?
about with
What's the scene
Toad.
we're
This is like when oh my goodness.
Is this at like the train station or no?
No, this isn't the train station. This is way after. This is when Professor X and Magneto has all the guns pointed towards all the cops.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the
Wolverine's
movie, I will say.
incapacitated, that's why.
Oh.
Because remember, like Magneto just threw him through a bunch of trains.
Oh,
Yeah.
but his regen's pretty quick.
But you can still knock him out.
Yeah.
He's not gonna die from it, but he still could get like a concussion, and maybe he has to heal from that concussion. That might take like half an hour.
Sorry, folks. Take that theory out. But anyways, like Toad is way OP. Like I can't believe that, but whatever. It's just the way she goes. I actually really liked Sabretooth. I thought like his costume was cool. Like even like the fur that he's got going. Like I thought he was like the most natural villain.
Yeah.
As cheesy as it was.
It didn't seem like out of place. Like I don't know, Toad. Like his tongue was pretty CGI'd.
Yeah.
It happens pretty
It
quick,
did.
so it's hard to really like put a negative to it.
And his hair is just green gel. You can tell. It's just pain.
But I think they're just like more having fun with the role than
Yeah.
anything else, and kind of like because everything he when he does take Cyclops classes, it's like such a joke, and they're like, oh, like it kind of just brings the fun back into the movie instead of being all serious, which I think is good.
It does. It's just so funny to think, like, when you think of what happens, like, even though it's not a good movie, when you think about the X-Men, when they fight, like, Apocalypse, and that's what supposedly takes place before all this. So Apocalypse is, like, this mutant god who can, like, do everything, and they, like, fight with Apocalypse, but then there's fucking Toad who, like, just takes him out so easily. Oh, boy.
I mean, they're learning, they're in training, and that's what I would want in the first X-Men movie. It's just them like getting crapped on.
By Toad specifically?
Yeah, by Toad again, like round 2. You haven't learned it. You're less than the first time.
First Marvel Fox movie is just Toad.
He's the main villain.
Yeah.
No Magneto, they sideline him.
Magneto was. I think we touched on it quite a bit. I think he did a really good job, and he really like when you think of Magneto, you see not Ian McKellen.
It is.
Yeah,
Ian
it
McKellen,
is.
yeah.
It's
sorry.
I see Fassbender, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job in that role, and so they did good casting, as we said before. Mystique, I think it was good, but like what do you do with someone who like is kind of like a chameleon? They just change shapes, and so like it's kind of like dependent on every other actor who's doing that her role
Yeah.
as well too.
Mhm.
But I still like enjoyed it. I think it's really cool and interesting, and like it's not something you would think about at the time, anyways. That this person can morph into another person to be able to do all this evil stuff. But then I forgot that she was kind of not evil, but just on that side of the fence.
The
Because-
Brotherhood of Mutants. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember in now the new X-Men
Just-
movies,
just
she's like on the other side of the
yeah.
fence. It's like, wait, how did this happen again?
Because technically in the prequels there's this weird point where they are prequels to this movie, but then they change the future so they're not. They're like new
Right.
movies. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that when we get to First Class. But
Yeah.
yeah, so technically, yeah, it's like because now in this, when they fix future, it's like, oh, she was, she would have been good, yeah,
Yeah.
but something happened in the past, and we'll
You're
get
right.
there. We'll get
there.
Yeah.
It's funny because like having the knowledge of like the First Class stuff, and then I don't know, like she has a bigger role, right, in these next upcoming movies.
In these next two?
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
usually always
it's
this.
like
Like
this,
it's a
yeah.
little
Okay.
bigger. I'd say in X2 it is a little bit bigger, and she has some vast moments, but she's kind of just uses this spy in a way. I will say
Yeah.
X2 is bigger, but it's not
Yeah.
like it's not Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
It's not
gonna,
like-
that's what I was gonna say is because like the Jennifer Lawrence Mystique, she's like the main like part of that
100%,
movie. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
so when I watch this and like she does a lot of stuff. Like she pretends she's the center.
She's
at
vital
the
to the
end.
plot. Like
Yeah.
they use her well, I think,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the character.
But
yeah.
like she said like the only time she really talks in herself is on that helicopter, which totally threw me for a loop. I was not expecting that like
that people like you are the reason I was afraid to go to
with
school
like
as
the
a
echo.
child.
Yeah.
I love that, like whatever head neck kick combo she did to knock him
Oh
out.
my God.
She
She's
just
like a
gra-
side to side with her foot.
She
and
just wrapped
so
one foot
cheesy.
around his neck,
Oh,
but
man.
I loved it. Just one foot around his neck and just like toot toot. It's like that's a Mortal Kombat like
Oh,
fatality
yeah.
shit. Like
Fatality.
that'd be Mystique's move. Just
Yeah.
his head scissors.
So going into this, like with the knowledge I had, I don't know. I was just expecting her to like be almost like the number 2 Magneto, like just with like the way that she would talk and like how she would kind of like lead the Brotherhood. So her kind of as that spy character. I mean, I liked it. I'm not like jotting it down in any way. It just kind
It
of
just
threw me
caught
for
you
a
off
loop.
guard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, yeah. I'd say definitely Sabretooth is like the number 2 in this.
Yeah.
And it's so surprising. I know we've been a little bit all over, but this is definitely a dated comic book thing, and even sometimes Marvel does now. It's so funny to think that both Sabretooth and Toad get killed off in this movie. Now, like I feel like you try to save villains and whatnot, but especially Sabretooth, and I guess I'm talking about the villains now. I like Sabretooth enough, but I'm not a fan of this version because I'm a fan of the comics, the animated series. He can like talk and fully like have a character and whatnot. Like he's not just a goon. He's has an idea for his own. So the thing that always, even when I was younger, I caught off guard of like they do this weird. They establish there's something with Sabretooth and Wolverine, right? Like Sabretooth, they kind of let on like he knows him somehow. He takes those dog tags. Those are important to him. And then they kill him off. And it was weird that they established that there's some sort of connection, but they kill him off until we get to the prequels. And then in this trilogy, they never bring Sabretooth back. So it's just a weird scripting thing to, if you weren't going to explain in a sequel, why did they add like some weird,
Maybe
like,
it's just for the comic book fans.
I guess so, yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
it's like, that's where it's weird, like the rest of the movie's not really for comic
Yeah.
fans, right? Like they're always making jokes about the costume, so it was weird. I love Mystique, I think she could be used a little bit more, but really I think this is, and especially we'll get into the next film, but X2 is the one I really like. I think she's used well. I don't think she should be a main character. Toad is just Toad. Toad's just like cannon fodder. You needed to like, you needed another bad guy, and they probably looked at the roster from comics and like, well, Toad's a popular character, and he is, like he's a mutant with Toad, you know, it's the guy that plays Darth Maul is playing him, so that's fun, but like,
Oh,
he's
I
just,
didn't know.
yeah, yeah.
Is that
Well,
trivia? Or fun
it is,
fact?
and well,
Well, we're just blocking up all the trivia.
they did that part, if you don't remember, where he throws, I think, Storm in the elevator shaft, and then it kicks a pipe, and then he takes it and he spins around his arm, and that's the Darth Maul pose, so.
Shouts out to Taylor. He would love that.
Yeah, he would have loved it. He hates the X-Men, that's why he's not on these
I
retros.
gotta mention though, the way that they killed off Toad, like, okay, it was pretty cool,
What
but like,
happens to a Toad that gets struck by lightning? Everything else.
it's
terrible.
It's like there's infinite possibilities on what she could have said. It's just like she could have thrown in like a science fact. She could have thrown in like, oh, she gets sizzled or something. Like it's like a fun little pun with like cooked for like toad legs or something. Everything else, I was like, oh my gosh, all right.
Yeah.
Product of its time.
I had
Actually, not even. That's just really lazy writing. To be
Yeah.
completely honest.
And the Senator stuff for me, it's just fine. It's just one of these things that it was like, it's on there. I like it enough because I actually do like that scene him and Storm have of like when he is
I was
dying.
gonna mention that though when he's like, please don't leave me. He's like, I just need to be with someone. And they kind of have that back and forth, and then okay, it's a little bit of bonding, like why are you why do you hate humans? 'Cause
Yeah, they're trying to understand each
so
other.
like all these things, and then he says to her, he's like, well, I guess you have one more person you don't have to fear. And then he just turns into this blob. It's like the scariest
How does
thing.
he know if he's dying?
He doesn't.
But like I felt like when he was saying that, it's like
No, I think he's just
It's like when you're about to throw up and you can kind of feel something going on.
No,
You're like, I don't feel good.
I think it's just the writing is not that strong, so everything's very on the nose. So it's just like he's gonna say the most stuff that you'd only say on your deathbed, and then he's on his deathbed and he dies, and it looks like a brutal death because he looks like he's gonna drown.
He's drowning, yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so funny though, because he's like, you have one less person to fear, and then she literally is like terrified as he's just like liquidizing in front of her. It was good. I was laughing pretty hard.
Trust me, it's like if a serial killer breaks out, you bump into him. He's like, trust me, no. What I was gonna say is, the Senator stuff to me is all fine. The only thing I really like is the ending when Mystique like replaces him. I think that's a fun thing, and we'll get that in the second one. But that's a fun, really thinking. I think that's a really well thought out thing. I don't think you need the whole subplot of him being in the next mansion, this and that. I think it works just fine. I think you could have found a way that just like introduce him in the beginning of the movie, give him one more scene in the middle, and then the end just be like, where's Mystique been? Oh, they took out this guy, that was their whole mission. But I do like that. I think that's a fun little kind of cliffhanger.
I think it was just more to get that theme across of like it's okay to be like one person, like we're not two different identities.
Yeah, like the storm stuff, like I get that. I think just because it is so just on the nose in that scene, it's not, there's no tact, and then he's dead, right? So it's like this character development, not that I want to see more of him, but it's just gone right away. It's like, okay.
Going back to that end scene, I did really like it, how like Mystique escapes, and then you don't really know what happened to her, and then honestly, I'm not gonna lie, so I was still feeding off that knowledge of, they're kind of foreshadowing. It's like, are you sure he died? Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my god, he lived. He's gonna change it from the inside. And then sure enough, it's Mystique. And I'm like, oh no, he's dead. He drowned.
He gone.
Yeah, he's in the drain.
Okay, and then after that we got. Oh, I guess we haven't talked about this guy. So Rose kind of going around. She's just, and I gotta love though that like so. Logan wakes up. We're still at this point in the movie, but Logan wakes up. And that's when like Xavier's saying like the school, and he gets the montage and everything like that. Rogue's already in a classroom, and it's like she's been there for a day, and Xavier's just took it upon himself to like enroll this girl. I just find that Logan's still like, he's still waking up, trying to figure everything out. She's already fucking learning lessons and whatnot. What do you think about her? Because obviously this is another thing with Mystique. She uses the Rogue and Bobby relationship to get into school. What do you guys feel about Bobby? You know, Bobby and Rogue.
Classic 2000s.
Nice frosted tips.
Frosted tips.
Cute young boy.
So good.
I really like. I can't remember Sean Ashmore. I really like him. We'll get into the other movies. I like him in this movie. He's barely in. He's just like the cute boy Rogue likes. But I think he's fine in it. I love that even in the scene where he's talking to Rogue, they added when he's talking, you can see his breath, and that's so cool because
did they?
Yeah, it's dead heat summer. Why would he have that? Well, it's because he's Iceman. I even like that rose he makes. It's just like a cool little effect. So I like the setup, and I like he's a cute boy she likes. I think that's a perfect way Mystique like fucks with her and just like. You know, Xavier's pissed.
So sad.
How does like Mystique find out what guy to go for?
Yeah, that's like a little bit of product of his time. That's gonna be even when we get to Days of Future Past 2014, product of its time. But it is a little of a leap, which we didn't mention because that's a moment where I'm assuming everyone's seen this movie, but where Logan's having his nightmares, stabs Rogue, Rogue uses his powers, so we get to that point. Bobby's like, oh yeah, see, he's mad, he's furious.
He's savage.
You better
need to go.
Yeah, you need to go. And then they cut to his last scene in the movie. I don't know, I was supposed to meet her for lunch. Yeah. Well, I guess he's playing pool with her at the end, but still, just like, I was supposed to meet her for lunch. But so I think Kyle's 100% right. That really makes no sense. Like, she just has some deep knowledge, but
Unless she was just like scoping out the place and kind of saw them.
Yeah, she was in that class, just like she was the rose. She was the rose, the ice rose. Yeah.
Not much to say about that character in this movie, just because the only real main point he had was as Mystique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%. Just sneak in there.
But it's hard to just disregard the knowledge that I already have of the later movies on how that character kind of grows, and then in the classroom, his buddy with the fire, and then how he turns into Pyro, and then he joins the brother. What do you know?
Spoilers.
What movie is that?
2 and 3. They're conjoined those the two arcs there. Yeah.
So Yeah, not much more to say about Bobby, but like just the little like
I'm not expecting much. I just want to throw them out before we go.
yeah, just like the little I don't want to say cameos because they're kind of just really like flat side characters in this, but like Pyro. What's going on there, everybody?
It's all good, guys. It's all good. Keep going.
What is that?
It was the mic thing, or mount thing. I had to adjust it so it stopped in my knee.
Okay.
Okay.
Kyle's so worse just because Kyle, if you were watching the video version, he just looks like a bird's end of the room and he's like looking around.
I can hear all so many sounds now.
Yeah,
You don't got anything on more, Bobby.
okay, just
I have nothing.
watching this movie, it gets me excited for the next couple movies,
Okay.
honestly. The build up.
And then Rogue leaves. Logan's going after. I like the first thing that happens. Logan asks for Rogue when he wakes up from like the whole. So
Yeah.
it shows nice guy. So their whole idea. That's the first time we get Cerebro. They're gonna go track down Rogue, and then we get the train scene and like what Kyle was talking about earlier, the Toad and Sabretooth being mind controlled and whatnot. You get the big plot
I
twist.
really like that scene.
Mhm.
I like
the whole sequence. I think of the train and everything. I love the twist because you are thinking like, why would it? Because even now watching this movie, knowing he doesn't want Wolverine, Xavier does bring that up many times. He's like, there's much more powerful mutants. Like, what does he want with this guy? And really, as a dumb kid, I didn't think about it, but it's like, what does he have any need for just like this fucking metal guy, right? So it works. They probably should have found that out earlier though. Like the X-Men should have put two and two together that maybe there's two people that was in that car and they don't even think of Rogue was a possibility, but that's fine.
You mean Green Jay? I mean
Green Dragon.
Green.
All of them.
Green
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey.
Guys, I know you guys got, because look, she didn't have a code name. Like, you got Cyclops, you got Storm, you got Wolverine. Green Dragon. What about Red Dragon? Like, you were in Green Dragon. Alright, Jean.
I look great in green.
Wolverine's like, that's great. What were you going to say about Jean Grey?
Well, I guess she's more powerful, but like they don't know at the time, right? Like
No, but the thing is, so those mutants were so Logan and Rogue, they're traveling the Canada, right?
Yeah.
They get crashed upon, they get taken, and for some reason they think Magneto wants Wolverine. The whole time Xavier's like, no, this guy's not really that strong. Why wouldn't they have ever been like, do you think he maybe wanted Rogue? They don't say it because obviously they want there to be the twist in the movie,
but I
right?
don't think anyone knows like how powerful Rogue is until she like almost kills.
I know, but I mean, like in the movie, they don't even discuss it as a possibility, right?
Oh, yeah. So.
That's what I mean. Like that's where I think it is like a product of its time.
But like again, she's a kid, right? Like they're not.
Oh, back to the kid thing.
Well, she's a child. She's a young, I guess.
Yeah, but
like
she could still be
girl.
powerful.
Yeah.
Xavier and Magneto were. What'd you say?
They're not thinking that.
Well, I know, but
Because she's enrolled in the school.
they should be thinking that, a little bit, right? Like for some reason, but it's fine. It sets up the twist.
It works.
Anyways, Kirkland, you were saying you loved a particular scene. I'm talking about this sequence now because then we're almost at the end.
So just to clarify, so when they go outside and that scene with the guns and everything, all the cops, is that outside of the train station?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, yeah.
What did you think it was?
I don't even know. It was like a field of something.
It did look like a train station.
It did not look like a train
They
station.
clearly did
I'll
not
say
shoot that train station.
Yeah.
It looked like they shot that at like a university.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
need
Yeah,
a big field
exactly.
where lots of cops can park their cars and
Yeah.
stand behind them.
Yeah, but even like when I was younger, I remember that just being such a memorable scene, and like this, there wasn't too much out of place CGI in it. Like it seemed normal. They had some cop cars.
That
flying
bullet
around.
thing is brutal too.
The bullet thing, yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just like backed up a little bit. I thought.
It would still keep following you though,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I think it also
product of its time.
I think yeah, of course. Another good thing is I think it also shows how far Xavier's willing to go because he's not, he's fighting the cause, but it shows the difference where Magneto will take lives easily if he has to. He's not trying to, but Xavier isn't going to risk, even though Rogue, that could be the death of everybody or whatnot, he's not going to risk some one random cop, right? Because he's trying to put a message out there that we're good people and we mean well. So.
I don't know. There's so many things about that scene I love. Toad wearing Cyclops' mask, the bullet thing, and just like how Charles just like takes over Sabretooth and just like grabs him by the throat, and then he's talking to him as Toad as well. Because it just, I don't know, like to this point, like you kind of understand Charles, the guy in the wheelchair. He can read minds. He can kind of figure out where all the mutants are, but like you don't understand, like I don't know. He's able to take control of Magneto's number 2 and number 3 like at the same
I
time.
don't think Toad's pretty easy. I think to take over.
I don't know, man. It's pretty OP in this movie.
True,
I think he did more than
Xavier's
Magneto
ass.
in this one.
Not mentally though.
Yeah.
That's why it was so easy.
Yeah. Kyle, anything to add on this train sequence? I one last thing I didn't say. I think Logan Rogue. You know, you can talk about Rogue some more. I think they got a good sequence on the train when he's telling her like, you know, just stick with me, you'll be all right, kid.
You want to give these dorks.
Yeah. I think they just their scenes together, I think all work really well.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I said that at the beginning. I thought like the best part was with Rogue was with when she was with Logan.
Yeah. No.
And otherwise, like it didn't really make. Like she was fine, I guess, on her own, and she's like doing
Here we go again.
hanging out with the boys, but like
The boys.
Just one boy.
Kids and
well, there's two.
There was one. And Pyro. Don't forget. 3. There's Coma actually.
Oh,
There you
right.
I don't count boy.
Walter's son.
No.
Walt Jr.
Yeah, I thought like again like it was just a good touch on the theme of what they were going through with like the two different ideologies of how to complete the same task essentially, like of they want their own kind to be okay and be successful and like not die or be extinct I should say. So they did a really and I guess that's when I get to see like Professor X and Magneto a little bit even more of like and then I guess the chess scene is afterwards, is it not?
That's the last scene in the movie.
Oh dang.
yeah.
Getting them mixed up. But anyways, I like that whole sequence that happened, and even with all the cops, just like scared of the mutants, and you could really tell like that kind of like that's what the newer Marvel movies kind of miss out. It's like like these people are scary. Look what they're doing. Like this is kind of nuts, and that kind of just solidifies that idea that like should we be trusting these mutants when they could be doing like look what they can do and control us. So I think that also like hits the theme again as well too of they're not normal people and they could turn on us on any point of time. So I thought
They had the
it was
power.
good. Yeah, that's all I got.
And then after that, so they figure out, they need Rogue, and then obviously the Senator dies, so they know, if Magneto's going to do this experiment, it's going to kill everybody. Then we got the set piece of them at the Statue of Liberty, lots of fighting, and then obviously, we can just talk about that whole ending, because it's just lots of fighting. They figure out a way to take out,
The Mystique
Magneto.
one-on-one with Wolverine.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that. That's some cool stuff of just the back and forth, the deking out. I love the reveal for Cyclops, how he figures it out. Just like, how do I know it's really you? You're a dick. It's just it sums it sums up their relationship really well. And I like most of the stuff that happens there, but I think that is, as to quote Kyle, a product of its time. I think the best stuff is Magneto talking to the X-Men when he has them all wrapped up, or talking to Rogue. I think the action, other than the Wolverine Mystique fight, is pretty. I think it's pretty generic or pretty, of its time, stuff like that. And I like how Mystique dekes her way out of there after getting stabbed, turns into the cop, nice. And it's again, just a lot happens in that last sequence of, we didn't even mention, like, that's when Xavier Rogue gets kidnapped, the twist happens, the Senator dies, Xavier he takes the poison, they're going to, the island, there's a fight, so, just even that.
And that's how they found out it was Mystique who was the Senator, stop the show.
They had TiVo in 2000, but in that last half an hour, 35 minutes, a lot happens in this entire movie, very short span, but in that last thing, it's just like Xavier's down now, and we gotta go. Logan's just I'm sorry, and then they walk off, and he's already all suited up. So yeah, I like it. I think it's a good enough ending for me. I like it. So.
I know it's not the end, but when Logan takes Scott's bike and then he puts on that booster and it's a total early 2000s CGI. So it's zzz.
In his face. It's oh yeah.
Oh, that was great. I forgot to mention that. But the ending, just the whole. Are we just talking about the whole Statue of Liberty?
You talk about anything you want in the ending.
I love those PS2 graphics moments when he does a little spin. I think it happens twice when he's fighting Sabretooth. He does a little spin or something, and it's such a taken from a PS2 animation, and then it just goes to Hugh Jackman just standing there to finish it off. It's just that's great. Yeah, nothing too memorable other than I like that whole mystery aspect of you don't know if it's your buddy or if it's Mystique, right? And then another scene that happened there is when Wolverine uses his claws to figure out Scott.
Goes to the metal detector.
Yeah, that was great. I found a gif of it, used it on Taylor. So
Whoa, nice, good work.
But yeah, other than that, nothing much more.
Yeah, I think Vanny's pretty.
I think so too. Like I don't have much more to say. I feel like by the time like this movie goes so quickly that there's like we can like beat it, like we can talk about it, but like there's not really much more to talk about when it's all very generic and there's nothing building up. It's kind of just like fight scene after fight scene and they're just going back and forth. So
I wanted to say though, because when they send Logan up there to it goes that great animation that Travis loves when his claws get all bent back and everything.
Oh yeah.
But like before that happens, going back to the nicknames, like I swear, I don't know, I swear like Logan's called him Scott like at this point, but like it's a super intense moment and he's like, Cyclops, can you take the shot? And he's like, he's like using his nickname.
He bought him the system, man. He was an X-Men, but now he is an X-Man.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And then he leaves.
It just made me laugh. So because it's such an intense moment. And it's just like Cyclops, you got the shot. And it sounded kind of off.
Yeah, and I like their little plan. Like it's very on a budget X-Men of like you're gonna float
When
me
he's like
up.
flying in.
yeah. But I like it. I like the little build-up of who's Scott gonna shoot.
You gotta use their ultimates, man. It's like in Marvel Alliance when it's just like, you save your ultimate power for the big boss fight when you're fighting whatever that guy's name is.
Grey Gargoyle.
Grey Gargoyle.
Doctor Doom. Yep.
Grey Gargoyle. You know exactly what I was talking
I
about.
knew what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when they're going. Jean and Scott were going back and forth of like, oh, who's gonna when is he gonna take this shot? And then it's like it's taking forever. And like, okay, Scott, like if you're supposed to be the point man, like you should just do it. Like, why are you waiting
It
for
took
her?
so
Well,
long.
I think what happened was he was trying to decide to shoot Wolverine or Magneto. That's what I think he was trying to decide.
What?
Why would you shoot Wolverine?
Why would you shoot
you
Wolverine?
You shoot the device.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Well, because if
Magneto.
you shoot the device, that could kill. They establish if he shoots the device, that's gonna automatically kill Wolverine and Rogue, or at least Rogue.
So just get rid of Wolverine.
Well, no. The idea is either you're trying to give. Okay, I got this. You're trying to give Logan enough time to stop the machine, right?
Yeah.
But it's spreading out. So the idea is either if he doesn't get in time, I have to shoot the machine / Logan, and it's gonna kill him, but it'll save everybody. Or I'll shoot Magneto, but once I shoot Magneto, which doesn't actually make much sense, you could actually shoot Magneto and then go back up and see if you're gonna shoot
I
again.
saw him
So
shoot
yeah,
those little like discs that
Yeah.
Jean was practicing.
So actually, it doesn't make. And now this moment's been ruined for me now. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, I like this movie. No, I don't, because he could shoot multiple times.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Hey man,
He
it's
is
a product
ruined
of its
for
time.
me. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh shit. There's something else I was gonna add here at the end, but I can't remember.
Oh, we didn't really touch too much on the whole Jean and Logan.
I was just gonna do that because
Yeah.
obviously then so Rogue's about to die. I like the scene. I actually really enjoy the score in this movie. I like all the music. I love that score. I think it's called Logan and Rogue when she's dying. He puts his hand like he's trying. Then just that moment where he realizes all his cuts are coming back. Really good. I love the score there. And then we didn't touch upon this because when Scott shoots Magneto and it blows up and you're not sure if Logan's alive, she's like, oh, like she's like shuddering.
Yeah.
How many days has it been? It's been like 2, right?
Maybe a week.
And we've all been there. We've fallen for people very easily. I've never fallen in love for someone in 2 days though, or a week. I'll give them that, a week.
Actually, I wouldn't even give. It felt like 2
Let's
days. Like that train station.
Let's go
like,
let's go 4.5. It's
Yeah.
been 4 days and a night.
It's a stretch.
She clearly is already feeling some stuff for him. And Logan, at the end, they had the scene where he had all the bandages because he was healing a bit slowly now. But she checked the bandages, it's all gone, and then that tickles. And then she says like, oh, she has a few more of your characteristic traits referring to Rogue.
Yeah.
And then Logan's like, oh well, my heart belongs to someone
Yeah.
else. It's been 4.5 days,
This
man.
hard as fuck character. Buried up the Loxley, Northern Alberta.
Oh yeah.
And he's just he's gushing out for him.
Like I think they don't do anything to establish. Like I'm trying to think because we didn't even touch upon that scene. We talked about
to
Scott.
establish.
Yeah, we talked about hang on. We talked about Scott and
Yeah.
Wolverine having their back and forth, but they don't establish why she would be attracted to him.
I
or
think she would be attracted to him because she knows his past and what he went through, and I think
why would you be attracted to that?
because
You feel for him.
You feel for him,
I
and then
guess.
you get soft because he didn't tell you what happened to him, but you.
But he doesn't.
form
He
a-
can't tell you because he doesn't know.
I know, but like
He
that's
physically-
the thing that she knows. She understands him more than he
Mhm.
understands himself.
Fair enough. I think
And I
it,
think like doing that, she's a lot more attracted to him.
it's very surface level, and I think it's almost just that she likes the bad boy.
I'm really reaching.
Yeah, you are. Like, because they don't have many scenes together, but yeah, and they're trying to go through for the comics and animated series. They have this like love triangle all the time, but in this movie, they definitely put it in there. It's just it's forced in there. And
It's
just
definitely forced, and I know we've said it many times, but I'm just gonna say it really quietly.
Green Dragon.
It's a product of its time, right? Because I don't know, like
I think I know what I'm renaming this episode.
but I don't know, I feel like in that era of movies, like you're kind of forced to throw in something like that near the end. It's just like, I don't know, like
Oh, he loves her. Oh.
they definitely leave it open ended about like more sequels to come, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, like if it never happens, we gotta mention that like he did love Jean and all these things, but like
Yeah.
it's very very soon.
Yeah,
so
it's not even that. Just even their first scene together, and I get what Kyle's saying about the mind reading. They just give him a little bit more reason why.
Yeah.
I can buy him maybe liking her just because he's like attracted to her, classic dude thing. But like,
right off the hop, just checks her right out, and it's like, oh man.
yeah, but
oh,
like,
mama.
just something to show they have something in common or some reason why he would care for other than just like looks and whatnot. Like just one more scene, I think that is.
I think that would have been good too.
I think that is just because of when the movie came out, but it's just like something to like. All feels like it's just like she's with Scott, but these two really want to bang, and that's about it. Like, but he loves her, you know. He has her. That his heart belongs to her.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe one more scene would have been good of her like not explaining, but like another reason why she would like Wolverine.
Just to see, like, at the middle of the night, like, let's say they're both up, they can't sleep, and they're just talking. Like, nighttime, they're just talking, and maybe to show, like, even then you could show more a softer side of him again, or maybe maybe you could take that as a chance for her to talk about herself, because we don't learn nothing about Jean Grey. In this movie, she's just, she's with Scott, but she likes Wolverine. That's her character. Yeah. So maybe just a line or two about, like, who she is, you know?
Or even them, like, working together at some point of, like, trying to solve, like, where this person be, and that's where they, like, the two of them somehow, for whatever reason, get off.
Well,
but like move into a different area from not where Scott is.
Well, like they had those planets aligning though, because Charles told Storm and Cyclops to go to the train station. So it was Charles.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I need a screwdriver to tighten my mic over here. But so it's Charles, Logan, and Jean.
And then the train station?
No, so they're the only ones like in their bat cave, whatever you call it. So then Charles
School?
Is that when Charles uses Cerebro? Or am I kind of blending scenes together?
I think you are, because I don't know what you're talking about.
No, because
I get.
so
talk about just before the train scene.
Yeah. So
he
because Logan ends up just going anyways.
Yeah. No, Logan already went because he.
Storm's in that scene too, though.
He's saying Storm and Cyclops went
because Charles told him to go because he didn't want Logan to leave because they still thought Magneto was after Logan.
Yeah.
So there's your opportunity of just having Jean and Logan in the house. No Scott.
But you needed him to get to the train station.
I know, so I didn't think of that.
But it could have been Jean was going after Logan because she knew that he left. Because the other two would have known.
That's still not a big character scene though. It's just them doing action stuff. Right?
I'm saying that they had the formula to have a little scene between Jean and Logan, and then I kind of forgot that.
Or
Logan
Jean
left
could have told him, try to convince him out of leaving, and that's how that would have worked.
Once again, I still don't think we learned anything about her though.
Pardon me?
We don't learn anything about her.
No, I don't think we're trying to defend that.
No, we're not trying to
we just accepted defeat on that
one.
Let's see, and then movie ends with Magneto. He got the optic blast.
I love that little prison room he's in too.
Yeah, he's in the chest. He's in the chest. He's in the prison playing chess, and they set up the great scene of just like, what you gonna do if they come for you?
Yeah.
I pity the poor soul who comes to my school, and then Magneto, sore loser. Xavier clearly wins, and he knocks over his chess piece. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But great scene.
And it just makes me remember the scene in the next movie. How no spoiler alerts.
Mm-hmm.
How he gets out of there. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think they kind of allude that he can easily get out of the building. Like,
it's not as easy as you think, though.
He's not like they kind of both know he can get out.
Yeah, he knows. If there's a will, there's a way. Magneto gonna find something, you know.
So it's not the end of the world, and I think it also like solidified the relationship that they have is that they are both on opposites. It seems like opposite sides, but they're really like still have a deep understanding of each other, which I think is really cool.
Mm. Anything else to add on the movie?
I don't think so. I'm ready for trivia. Let's go
through it all. Wait, we're gonna give it. Are we rating these?
We'll read it after trivia.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and I got quick just other notes I was gonna shout out, just like lines. I like the second time when they scan Logan and see the adamantium on his body. he just goes, "Oh, we couldn't wait to get my shirt off again, huh?" And then she hits the button, just does it.
Heyo.
I like that.
Okay. On that note, when he first went in there, I thought that was an MRI. I'm like, he's gonna get fucking torn apart. Like, that magnets are just gonna rip his skeleton apart. And then it wasn't. So I was happy it wasn't. That would have been torture.
Fuck this movie. I said whoever was in charge of anything Magneto did with metal, great job, metal stuff guy, because like when he goes to see the center and he's walking and he's forming that bridge, or when he
That's
has like
cool.
those balls like bouncing, but it's just his mind. Anything metal, and even at one point when he's walking and talking to the center's just like slowly moving behind the metal chair. Like, I think they do a good job. Yeah, it's little stuff, but sometimes people don't even do that. So I think they did a good job of making sure like this guy, you know, he controls metal.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna show it.
I forgot to mention the bridge part because, yeah, like you said, like he does control metal, and metal is kind of like everywhere in our day and age. But it's just like it also shows just the power that he has, because it's just like even when he's just talking to Sabretooth, and then you have like I forget what it's called, but the balls thing, like it's just
I
like
don't know what
like.
it's called either. It's something
Come on,
Kyle. Kyle
Yeah,
knows that
Kyle
dumb
would
shit.
know that stuff.
Dumb shit.
Like stuff that
It's
I
like Newton's cradle or something.
like stuff that I filed in. Oh, he's pulling on his phone, bastard. Stuff that I filed in my brain is like not important. That's the stuff Kyle's like, oh well, it's not a screwdriver.
But like it just shows that like he's having a conversation, yet he's powerful enough to just have these side things going on, or like just to like I don't know. I really appreciate it. So shouts out to the middle guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no guy ever did it. And then the only scene where I feel like we get some sort of just like idea of Cyclops and his morals is like when Xavier's all like comatose and he's just talking about like how he's gonna take care of them and whatnot. Like I think you get a good sense of he is a good guy and he means well. So I like that. I think that's the only fleshing out that Cyclops gets. So that kind of sucks, but yeah, I like that scene. Kyle, what are those things called?
Newton's cradle.
That's exactly what I said.
Run the audio back.
You did, but you said at first you didn't know, so yeah.
I said Newton's cradle or something.
Here's a few trivia facts. I won't give you a rating. So trivia: Hugh Jackman took ice cold showers every morning of filming in order to help get into character. The tradition started when jumping in the shower at 5 a.m. before realizing there was no hot water. Shocked, awake, but not wanting to wake his sleeping wife, he gritted his teeth and bore it before realizing that this mindset, wanting to scream and lash out at something but having to hold in, was mentally he mentally wanted that in the consistency with Wolverine. He made cold showers in his Wolverine preparation routine for each movie, returning to the character.
Even Logan?
It said each movie, so I guess he's always this motherfucker's taking cold showers all the time.
On that note of Wolverine, earlier you mentioned he was casted 3 weeks into filming.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a world without Hugh Jackman as Wolverine?
Well, when we get to it, I have some. I know the actor for sure. And I have some other ones that were thrown out there. So there's some good facts here, and then I just have some dumb ones. This one, neither Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen knew how to play chess, so they brought in a chess master to teach them. I hope he didn't cost a lot, because I don't think he needed to teach them chess for that quick.
It's probably out of their own bank, honestly.
Rebecca Romijn Stamos makeup for Mystique consisted of 110 costume design processes, which covered 60% of her body. Took 9 hours to apply. She could not drink wine, use skin creams, nor fly the day before filming, because it would have caused her body chemistry to be slightly off, causing the prosthetics to fall off.
Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
That is pretty good though.
Good trivia.
I already mentioned this, that like Storm, this is the only movie that Storm has her Kenyan accent, and then it's gone. Hugh Jackman got his testicles caught in a harness after a 6-foot jump off the Statue of Liberty set.
6-foot jump.
That's still though.
That's a big drop.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Fuck, rest in peace.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This one's making the rounds recently, but I still thought it was funny to throw in because we're only doing one retro, so why not? In an interview, and Hugh Jackman admitted that when he initially took the role of Wolverine, he studied wolves to develop the character, since he thought the Wolverine must allude to wolves. The director later explained to him that the Wolverine is a different kind of animal, and it's a large species badger, and it's found in North Europe and some parts of North America. So, and there's a visual story of this. Can't remember what. I think it might be Jimmy Fallon. He did this a few weeks or months ago at this recording, and he's talking about when he was on set and he's like acting like a wolf and whatnot, and the director like pulls him over. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, Wolverine," and stuff like that. So it's a funny story.
I think that's fair to say since he grew up in Australia.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wolverine.
Like I don't even know what a wallaby is.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what a kangaroo is.
Same.
So here's a fun one. Joss Whedon wrote a draft for the script, but it got rejected because, according to Whedon, it was too quick-witted pop culture referencing tone, which didn't fit the X-Men. Only 2 lines of dialogue from the script were used in the final movie. The exchange between Cyclops and Wolverine, and when The exchange between Cyclops and Wolverine when Cyclops suspects he is Mystique. Okay, the dick line, and then Storm's statement about what happens to Lightning. Ironically,
It was his line. What?
Yeah.
Was that his Foggy's line?
Who?
Why did I say Foggy?
Yeah. Who? Joss Whedon's line. Ironically, he would go on to write a comic series called Gifted, which was a major inspiration for X-Men 3, but more ironically, he wrote and directed The Avengers. So, kind of funny that he...
Had like the worst 2 lines.
The worst.
I don't think the "you're a dick" line's bad.
No, just saying. Like, it's not like...
Well, the way I'll defend it is just because like it's funny what we're gonna get now with the X-Men is gonna be kind of Avenger-like, and back then exactly what we were talking about, right? They're like, this wouldn't work, and he's like, okay, so they did this type of script. So here,
That last line though was Storm.
yeah, maybe.
Could have kept that.
So here's some directors that were approached throughout. Kathleen Bigelow, who was she was attached to directing early development. I'm not sure if you know her, but she did The Hurt Locker and a few movies like that. Robert Rodriguez and Tim Burton.
That would have been really weird.
I would not have wanted to see Tim Burton's X-Men. That would have been...
not at all.
You did a good Batman one.
Joel Schumacher, who did Batman Forever and Batman Robin. John McTiernan, who did The Predator. Danny Boyle, who did things like Slumdog Millionaire and Transpotting. Who else? Irvin Kershner, who did Empire Strikes Back. And then Bryan Singer was chosen. These are some people that were up for Rogue. Was Kirsten Dunst, so before Mary Jane, she was about that Rogue life. Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy, Christina Ricci from like Addams Family and whatnot, and then Natalie Portman turned down the role.
Good.
Oh wow!
I'm trying to picture like Natalie Portman at 2000. Because when did
Have you ever seen Mars Attacks?
Yes.
I think she's
that
about that
2000?
age. Like, well, that's a little younger, but she'd be probably a couple of years older than
Well,
that.
didn't like the prequel for the Star Wars around that time
Yeah,
too?
1999 year before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
I guess she's probably happy she's in Star Wars. I'm just wondering what would she now looking back with the prequels, the way they went like.
I think Star Wars for sure.
Really? You still think so?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
100%. It's such like a way bigger following, even though
her and Hayden Christensen's roles kind of get made fun of the most in that with that love story.
yeah.
Really?
Well, why would you want? I think.
When I think of the prequels, I honestly go to like Natalie Portman.
I do too.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
Yeah.
So some people that were considered to play Cyclops: Ethan Hawke. Do you guys know Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben Affleck.
Oh, it was early, but Ben, yeah.
Yeah, and he would play Daredevil 3 years later. Matt Damon, which I feel like anytime you were talking about Ben Affleck, you talk about Matt Damon, so that's why. This was the weirdest one. And there's a bunch of other guys that didn't become anything big, so I didn't include them. But Vince Vaughn.
That's Cyclops.
Really?
Yeah, this is when he was more of a dramatic actor, though, because he was not doing comedy. He was like in the Jurassic Park sequel. He
Right.
did the remake to Psycho, so I guess I could see it, but I don't think that would have been a great choice. So.
No.
I just picture like his hairline. That's where my mind goes. With that mask.
So let's see. So and then these are the 3 ones. These tied them together. Hugh Jackman, like I said, cast 3 weeks into filming. Bryan Singer's first choice to play Wolverine was Russell Crowe, but he turned it down. I think that makes sense for the time. He's kind of girly Brady, but he had, I think, just won an Oscar. He was about to, so it makes sense why he turned it down. And then other actors who were considered for the role: Mel Gibson, Aaron Eckhart, who played Two-Face in Dark Knight, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Viggo Mortensen, who played Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, Edward Norton, don't know about that one.
Wow. What a weird character to have in that.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins, and then Keanu Reeves, Gary Sinise, but the person that was cast was Dougray Scott, but he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts with Mission Impossible 2, and he was injured in a motorcycle accident. Russell Crowe then suggested his friend Hugh Jackman to the director, who was cast shortly before filming. So what happened was, I'm not sure if you guys are Mission Impossible fans, but he plays the villain in Mission Impossible 2, so he went off to do that, and that changed his life forever, because obviously that delayed him from playing this. They had to get someone else, and then it became Hugh Jackman's role, and now he's iconic. So it's just like, I imagine that guy's kicking himself. Who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have been that level iconic, right? Because I think Jackman's perfect for the role, but still, you just sit there and think about like,
That could have been me, yeah.
Watching Logan.
Yeah, but look how many movies he had to do before he got to do it.
Yeah. No.
and especially too, because Mission Impossible 2 is kind of looked at as like the worst of the franchise too. So it's not like you.
I can't picture that actor. What's his name?
Dougray Scott.
Dougary?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
search that up, boy.
Dougray Scott. And then this one I had to throw on myself. Yes, it's Bad Times, but it's still worth mentioning. At some point, he let it be known that Michael Jackson wanted to play the role of Professor X, and I didn't. And for some reason he wanted to play a older person with around a bunch of kids in a school by himself. Wow, what a stretch of role that would have been for Michael Jackson. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy. That's some good trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be coming. Kyle
Oh,
was
it's still going.
no, it's done. I have to end on. You heard Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Want to play Professor X? There's nothing more than that. That's and I don't even want to. Even before the bad stuff, just picturing Michael in the chair and just wanting.
What do I call you? Wheels?
He really wanted to be in comic movies because he also tried to be the Riddler too. So he really I'm pretty sure he wanted to be Jar Jar Binks as well in Family Enough. So there was a time he was really going for these roles, and thank goodness you directors didn't cast him in any because I think it just would have not gone well.
It wouldn't have aged well either.
No, retrospect. Really good idea. So, who wants to go first? Final thoughts and a rating. Then we'll get out of here.
I'll go first. Kyle looks like he saw a bird.
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Coming into here, I was under the impression of, you know what? All the
Where's this
Josh,
going?
all the Josh and everything that we did in this movie, and like pointed out like the pretty bad scenes and stuff. I still think this movie kind of. I think it holds up. Honestly, it might just be personal, but
That's all that matters. It holds up to you, right?
that is true.
Yeah.
It's a very, very personal rating, and my personal rating, coming here, I was gonna give it like a 9 out of 10. Not gonna lie,
Whoa.
but
Sorry,
I'm gonna jot it down to 8.
An 8?
Yeah, I'm gonna give 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I could probably rewatch it again. I'm not gonna say this week because I'm pretty busy. Maybe next week. Probably won't happen. But
You're
I'm
gonna
saying
try
I
to watch
could.
again this week.
I'm saying I could.
You can watch X2.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch X2.
Mhm.
But no, I like the cast. I like all the characters. Yeah, you guys brought down some. I don't know.
Kirkland was on that 9 out of 10 bandwagon.
I was definitely on the 9 out of 10, and then you kind of opened my eyes to some just things that I clearly just wasn't paying attention to. But no, I love the cast. I love the action scenes weren't as great as I remember. But I don't know. It's just a fun introduction to this world of X-Men, and it ends off wanting more, and I know that we get more. So I'm excited to watch the next movies and just get the little marathon going.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Thanks, Kyle.
I'm gonna say a 6.5.
Oh, a 6.5.
I thought like it's not a bad movie. It's enjoyable, but it's not like it's hard when we're gonna start rating all these movies that
Or a product of this
it's
time.
probably this time, and like you have to take into respect of what was happening, and that's I think in that era it was like an alright good movie, but I think
I think in that era it was probably a great movie for like a comic movie, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you only had like Batman, Superman. That was about it. Because you had this and then Spider-Man back. So
yeah.
I think that's why people maybe shit on some of these movies now when it's compared to what we have. But it's like
Yeah.
back then we were just lucky that we were seeing these characters in any form, a guy with finger claws on screen, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I still gonna give it a 6.5. I think it was an enjoyable movie, but like there's a lot of like kind of very cheesy moments, and which is fine. But then they like some parts kind of bring it down, and like the storyline was all right. It was there. I could see what they were doing with the themes and their plot. Like the plot twist was good too. It's just I don't know. I felt like it could. I wanted more from it, but I like movies or TV shows with a lot of character development and a lot more interest in being involved with what's happening.
More child actors.
More child actors. But it just wasn't there for me. So, but that's why I'm gonna give it 6.5. Yeah, I'm gonna be positive. It's still a positive.
That is
mark.
that's
Still
sort
pass.
of fresh.
Still pass.
And what is that? Is that a C plus?
Yeah.
There you go.
Good enough.
Is it just a C? Yeah, it's C plus, 65. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of be right in the middle. I'm gonna give it a 7. I think it's. I still think it's enjoyable.
It's not in the middle.
Kind of, bastards. Yeah, I think it's enjoyable. I like it. Definitely is dated. It definitely has some problems, but I think they do a lot of things that I can still revisit and find an entertaining movie. I think the biggest thing as well is I think the performances was what carries it forward. Yeah, the rest of the X-Men aren't the greatest. I think just because they don't get to be, but I think you have Jackman, McKellen, and Stewart. I think those 3 are great, so that's what makes it good. I think if any one of those were wavering and you only have the 2, then maybe not, but you bounce off a lot. So yeah, that's why. I think there's some other good stuff in there. Yeah, the action's a little dated as well, but I like the setup. I understand. I can still enjoy this movie and not kind of be like, oh man, it's just so old. I still like it. Yeah, there's some wild CGI in here, but the great performances really pull it forward. So I'm going 7 out of 10 on this one. So
Perfect.
So if you like what we did here, keep following along. Were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just trying to think. We need like a take line out.
Yeah.
Well, you can start thinking about the way I do the plugs, but yeah. So and you guys can talk. Remember, you don't have to talk in the mic now because you can talk off the side if you want. Anyway, so if you like what we do here, like I said, on Patreon, we're gonna be putting up all the episodes early. But if not, then that'll be for $1 for half of them, $5 for all of them. If you want to follow along, please go to the description for the video or the audio. Just subscribe. All the description and details are down. No, not the description. All the details are down below. And just subscribe because these ones, when they drop for the public, I'm not sure, but it might be weekly, it might be 2 weekly. But yeah, it's our Day After Dark band. So thank you very much for tuning in.
Excellent day.
And 3, 2, 1.
Have an excellent day.
Oh,
No, we're not gonna do that.
What do you have now?
No, that's all I got.
Well, that's what we're gonna do then.
Oh, perfect.
We have to.
We have to now. That's our sign off. Oh, yikes.
Oh, woof. That's a big woof.
Have an excellent day.
Are we ready to go? Oh, and Kyle, after
Read
night's
my
been
notes.
pushed for a little bit because Taylor, he had this
You should
situation.
just tell him the story.
I'm gonna before we start. His well, not his mom, but Madison's mom. She got her car stolen because someone at the pool took her keys. So they stole her car. The cops chased her down. Apparently, she crashed, flew through the windshield. The cops still didn't catch her. And then when they got to the car, apparently it was just like riddled with drugs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. We can do it another time. But yeah, I said to her, I'm pretty impressed. This lady must have been so high. The fact that she crashed, went through the windshield, and the cops still didn't catch her. So that means, you know, she was booking it like so fucking hard.
Oh my goodness. What did she crash into?
I didn't ask for this.
Well, like, how far was the cop to be behind to not be able to like get out of the car and chase after her?
Or just, I imagine that she crashed. She just fucking rolled and then just went into booking. Like, we can ask
She
Taylor
left the drugs too.
when we record after 9. We'll try to ask Taylor in person because, well, I'll legitimately say that because I don't think he'll have any problem telling the story. I can say, oh, this is why the episode's delayed, fans. I want to tell the story, Taylor, and we'll have all these questions. Because tonight he was just picking up Madison, so I don't think even he knows.
What do you mean he's picking up Madison?
Because I think they're going over there to, like, maybe it was like a traumatic experience. I'm like, hang with the mom or help out or
A
something.
traumatic experience?
Oh, God. I don't. Well, I don't know. Let me look it up here. I'll see the exact reason why.
Like, why is this not on cast in it? I feel like this should have been like front page.
Her car got stolen and it got crashed. How's that traumatic? Like, she wasn't even in it. She
Okay,
didn't even see her car get
There's
stolen.
drugs.
Just so you know,
There's drugs in her vehicle.
just so you know, he didn't say traumatic. I put those words in his mouth.
Wow, don't put words in his mouth. It's classic Travis.
Let's see.
That is so close.
He said, I have to go pick up Madison after work, then head to her parents' place with her. And then he just told the story. So he didn't clarify why he needs to be there. Okay. I thought you were the one that asked Kyle.
I kind of missed what he was saying. I went to look at my phone. Get out my notes.
I said that he just said that he had to go pick up Madison after work, then head to her parents' place with her.
Oh.
So he didn't say why. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your first episode, the debut episode of the X-Men Retrospective. I'm going to keep it simple. I am the Wolverine, Travis.
Ooh, I am the regenerative Kirkland Patzer.
You're a dick, Kyle Smith.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Classic.
It's strange it being a quote, but I'll give it to you. At least you had a nickname.
Yeah, That's what I got top of my head.
If you haven't guessed by the nicknames or the title of this podcast or anything else, in honor of Dark Phoenix coming out, which is going to be the last Fox X-Men movie, because Disney has now bought X-Men and Fantastic Four. So out of this continuity, we're not getting any more after Dark Phoenix. So what better time to go look back? And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at X-Men to Days of Future Past. We're not looking at Deadpool 1, 2, Logan, or Apocalypse, because we've reviewed those in like the past 2 years, and we usually try not to review stuff that's been at least like 5 years, because you can't really retrospect on something you reviewed last year. So it's kind of, and that's kind of like the core X-Men films, right? So that's what we're doing. We're starting today. If you're on Patreon, you'll get these early. If not, they'll come out in a timely fashion before the movie drops. Have a schedule. Thanks very much. But until then, yes, go to Patreon, get half these. If not, you can get full of them for $5. It's good. It's a good deal.
That's
And
a
lots
good
of
deal.
other stuff after
Great
nines that were delayed because Taylor's mother-in-law is crashing through trees. No, that's not the story.
That would be
so
pretty
far
traumatic. That would be
from the
pretty
story.
traumatic, honestly.
So let's start off with this. So we don't even gotta do like a non-spoilers because like this movie came out in 2000.
If you haven't seen this movie, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I got. We're gonna actually redo that. I wasn't recording.
We weren't using the new mics?
No.
Oh my god.
Are we live too?
No, we don't do live anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're done
Anything
with that.
live?
No, because I can match the audio until that's probably a goal one day. Until we get a camera where this can plug in the soundboard. Right now, I record the video and then I take the audio from the podcast and then the video and combine them. But live is still just the video, so that's why I mentioned a camera one day.
Yeah.
All right, take two.